This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, wait, what are we talking about? It's Citizen Kane. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
And we love movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the kickoff of the 2020 We Love Movies month here on We Hate Movies. We thought, let's kick things off in a really interesting way. Let's do a movie from the fucking 1940s.
That nobody's heard of.
No, this is a real sleeper, Chris Cabin. Thank you for pointing that out. This is a film called Citizen Kane from 1941. Directed by the Transformers franchise's Orson Welles.
Yep.
Come on.
There's a rare one-off for him.
Oh, yes, if I had to look back on everything, it was my role as Gluselax in Transformers.
Is that his character's name?
No.
Okay.
I think he's Unicron, I want to say.
That sounds right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go with it. I'm sure the internet will fix it if it's wrong.
I also was very impressed by my performance in I Love Lucy.
You went back and watched that I Love Lucy episode recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and he plays himself, and it's magnificent.
Ooh.
I was once also myself on a 1985 episode of Moonlighting. It's true.
Did you
make that up? It's
Did
true.
did you see? You can watch the intro he did for Moonlighting on YouTube. And he did a 2-minute, never before in the history of television has there been such a pairing as Moonlighting.
Get out of town.
I'm
He's talking to
not
Bruce Willis?
It's like a 2-minute intro into the episode that he appears on, and he's talking it up like it's the moon landing.
That's weird.
Which he probably also co-directed.
But that is one of the greatest things about Orson Welles is everything that dude was doing. I mean, because he was just such a fucking narcissistic genius maniac that everything he was working on that day, it was the greatest fucking thing of all time. So 4 episodes as Robin Masters on Magnum PI, greatest television in existence.
Well, because in the 70s and 80s, he was just literally dining out on all of his other stuff and didn't give a shit and was just drunk and smoking cigars and doing pee commercials.
And talking to fanboys. All these fucking...
Peter Bogdanovich?
Bogdanovich and the one who did the book Lunches with Orson Welles, which is all gossip.
Oh, I've never even heard of that thing.
It's one of the guys who is in the same box set that Head and Last Picture Show are in.
Okay, yeah.
The guy who did A Safe Place, I think it's called.
Oh, okay. I literally thought A Safe Place was that guy's only movie.
It might be, but he did this whole book of interviews.
It's John Krasinski, by the way.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Of The
quiet.
Office, correct? Yes. That makes sense.
No, now I want to look that up because it's fucking Henry Jaglom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to be. I'm a little intimidated here because it's only my second time watching it last night. FYI.
Oh,
okay.
What did you think of the mise en scène?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Good mise en scène.
They have good mise en scène in this Italian restaurant.
And I think it's important, Steve, that I think you're maybe getting at here. We don't want this to be a fucking film school conversation.
No.
You know what I mean? There's a lot to pick through here and have fun with.
But I have 3 pages on the aspect ratio.
Well, fucking TS, brother. You can fucking put it in the same paper where you talk about how they carved holes in the stage floor to put the cameras in and all that shit. The tech stuff, is one of the reasons why the movie is remembered as fondly as it is. And rightfully so. I love this movie legitimately.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
definitely not a what are we doing here? I have to say, and maybe this will get us off on the right footing here. It was incredibly disturbing to me watching this movie right now while that fucking orange turd is refusing to concede this election.
Right. There's so many similarities because wasn't Hearst one of those first America First people in general?
He was one of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I find it interesting. Yeah, there's a ton of Trump stuff here. Literally, the frauded polls bit. Literally, me and my wife, also her second time watching it as well, like just turned to each other on the couch, like, "Are you kidding? Did they just put that in this week?" You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing.
Exactly, dude. My asshole fucking was closed for business.
But
Bogdanovich is still editing it. He's putting new pieces in every once in a while. He found new footage.
But it's sort of like he's very like, it's weird. It's interesting that, like, you know, they play with the politics so much that he's pretty much a liberal, but then Joseph Cotton calls him like a piece of shit later on. Like, you know, he's kind of a Bezosian liberal sort of a thing, like all for me, none for you, and enjoy my scraps kind of a situation.
Oh, most definitely. It's like I'm providing you with jobs and I'm giving you this and that. Like, you should love me, you know, as much as I love myself. And I think the moment you're mentioning is when Joseph Cotton's like, hey man, you're all for like the working people until the working people band together and realize they don't fucking need you and they're more powerful than you are. And then you're going to just hate them like you hate everybody else, kind of a thing.
You'll never understand the working class like me, a drama critic.
I read some of Pauline Kael's, one of her, I think, in 1971 piece about the film, and she actually said that at certain screenings at campus showings, people would react so gullibly to Charles Foster Kane, they would actually be cheering him on during his speeches in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of
like, this guy really believes in it. Like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Like, he loves espousing that stuff, and it is that's funny because it is, like, to me at least, like, so clearly phony baloney. But maybe that's because I've just seen the movie a million times between last night and high school, and I don't understand, like, you know, I don't remember the first time I watched this movie and what I thought about Charles Foster Kane, the person. I just know that watching it last night, I was like, God damn, this dude fucking stinks.
I can't conceive of watching this for the first, like, I can't remember it at all. Like, I'm so familiar. I've read so much about this at this point. I'm just like, it's like an old friend I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm sort of envious of you in a way, Steve, and Jen also, and like Chelsea watched it for the first time last night. Like, I would love to come to this movie first time, like, as an adult with an understanding of the world. I feel like my first time was really kind of ruined watching this in like the 10th grade.
Yeah, and like probably for homework a little bit, I bet.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think I definitely saw this on like VHS, or maybe it was a Turner Classic Movie 4x3 television broadcast.
Yeah,
that's how I meant for it to be seen on VHS. The VHS trailer game. No, there is no VHS trailer game. I wish there was, though.
Oh, yes. What trailers would we have in 1941?
World War II.
Yeah, exactly.
Continued.
It's newsreel footage, or it's like a Donald Duck cartoon.
Ooh, I'd take that. Like they put that Roger Rabbit short in front of whatever it was there. Was it another Zemeckis movie? We talked about this recently, didn't we?
I get
what was the one that was like Back to the Future 2, maybe? Or 3?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, Cabin. There was definitely, it was another Zemeckis movie, and there was like a Roger Rabbit. His brother Robert Rabbit.
Robert Rabbit. Sell insurance.
Yeah, you want Roger for the ha-has. I got a fucking wife and kids, all right? I got 29 kids. I'm a fucking rabbit.
But don't feel bad. I get it all the time. It's all right.
Why wouldn't you buy life insurance? You could get poisoned or hung any day. I think I dream about it every day.
You're walking down the street, you get thrown into the dip, boom, you don't have life insurance, you're fucked as a cartoon.
Oh, man. Toontown, I think like a Cool World-esque Citizen Kane would be something to explore.
Yeah, and my wife is also a rabbit. We're going to leave it at that, fucking Roger, all right? Freak.
The envy I have for that cute shoe going in the dip. Oh, my God. To get me away from this hell that is my life.
Take me now, dip. Take me now.
I will drink the dip. I will drink it, Judge.
Yeah, a dip on the rocks, please, Judge.
Another thing I was noticing, and as you can tell, audience, it's really kind of, weird trying to find a place to start with this movie. Like, for a movie also that is famous for destroying any kind of through line narrative and hopping around structurally,
right?
It's kind of tough to go through it. One of the things I was reminded of, though, And it was actually interesting watching Chelsea watch the movie. All of these like Simpsons references all of a sudden are made totally clear.
Man.
Well, just a lot of shit. The one of my the Union Forever is on what do you call it? There is a White Stripes song on White Blood Cells. I was like, oh, that's where that's from.
They got sued over that song too.
Did they really?
It is a fucking fantastic song, and the song in the movie slaps as well.
It does, dude. You've got. Here's the thing, and we'll get. Maybe I don't know how we're gonna go through this episode. You've got to pretend to be a little embarrassed when your own theme song is playing. That's that is absolutely the move, 100%. Oh, I can't believe. Oh, are they doing? Oh God, I hate this. You cannot get up and enjoy it in the reverie.
Dude, you got to pretend you don't know the words to that song. First of all, this motherfucker's singing and dancing through it. Like, you can't know the words to your own theme song, Charles Foster Kane. That's embarrassing.
I will say something that did slap me that I had forgotten from watching it all these times is that Charles Foster Kane dies a Floridian.
Yes, dude.
Wow,
he's a Florida man. He's a Florida king.
I don't understand the idea, and apologies to everyone who's listening in Florida. This idea where you accumulate all this wealth at the expense of everybody in your life and all this shit just to live in Florida?
I guess, well, one, he's really not going out much.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't.
So it's not like I'm building this so I can be very close to Disney World.
Yes, I want to see Earl's Gator Wrestling Pit.
It's so you don't have to shovel your driveway.
Well, but actually, I think because it does work against it, because the reason that you would want to live in Florida is that you can go outside with the least amount of clothing and look not insane because of the heat. Like, that's what I think a lot of people like, is like, I could go out with like my fucking tighty whities and like sunglasses and look somewhat normal because the heat is so unbearable.
Ah, yes, I've cut the throat of everyone I've ever known now that I could live amongst palmetto bugs. Fantastic.
Gaze upon my skid marks.
I feel like it's a thing where maybe that was the only place where he could buy up like that much land to build Xanadu or something.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, and it his network of newspapers is throughout the entire country, so he kind of doesn't have like a real permanent residence. But like Hearst, which it was based on, has that giant castle in California. I went to one of our last trips out there. I drove up the Pacific one and stopped off there, and it fucking sucks. It's really embarrassing. That's your whole life, dude?
Well, dude, thanks for saving me the trip.
Yeah, man. I think I used the public restroom, though. Good on you, Charles.
It's pretty great, dude. I've never heard a first-person review of a castle before. Fucking sucked.
I don't know. There was a flamingo there. It was kind of cool. I don't know.
And yes,
flamingos in California, no.
I just called William Randolph Hearst Charles because it's all the same.
Yeah, I would. I mean, depending on how Patreon goes, if I could build a castle for myself, I'd call it Castle Wolfenstein. It'd be pretty cool.
Ooh.
Oh man, you can't do that though, Steve, because then like everybody who passed by would be like, yeah, Castle Wolfenstein, old man Sadak up there, that fucking racist.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So, are you a Nazi?
Are you,
I'm more like the guy that was a prisoner, BJ, that has a knife, and I'm wandering around my house at 1 a.m.
I also love when he's hanging out with Hitler in the newsreel, and like I just feel like or Kane just needs to be like, listen, everybody liked Hitler back then. Don't judge a book by its cover. I came out after. Once Hitler was bad, I was like, hey man, but back when Hitler.
Well, that's like what the justification is too. I think it's this is in the newsreel part still, and it's like, yes, he had
on the march.
Yeah, totally. It's like, yes, he had many powerful friends. Some, the opinion of which he changed later. And then it's just like the cut to Hitler.
Hello, Charles. How are you doing? Would you like to have a beer with me? Yes, the ovens are working very well.
I love this shot of fucking Hitler on the balcony with Charles Foster Kane. And for a long time, I was like, they edited him in somehow. but it's an actor playing Hitler, and the restraint they use makes it feel more real.
Yeah, it can't be a real scene where like, oh, hello, just like having a dance with him or something.
But this guy, I mean, he cleaned up playing Hitler a bit. His name was Karl Ekberg, and he was in Fritz Lang's Manhunt from the same year, 1941. Excellent film.
Yep,
as
good
Hitler.
one.
Is there anyone credited as Teddy Roosevelt? Because there's the similar thing there,
Right? Yeah,
when he's
I
on
did
like the
not
back of the
check.
train.
I generally just check for Hitler.
And then I met Hitler again.
Well, also Hearst also.
I became a rough rider again.
I believe Hearst met Hitler as well, and then there was the whole divide in the country over World War II that they're sort of alluding to there.
Oh, I'm sure they had a good laugh, those two.
Well, yeah, he does come back. He comes in the newsreel. And he's just like, oh, we're not going to go to war. Listen, everybody. Everyone relax. Don't wet your beds. There's not going to be a World War II.
Dude, that's a fucking total embarrassment. That's when he comes back from marrying Susan Alexander, and he's like, I'm out of the newspaper business or whatever. And then, dude, guarantee, you mark my words, there'll be no war.
By the way, I just checked. Teddy Roosevelt, yes, also portrayed by an actor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. These are good-looking, like, body doubles.
I mean, in the newsreel, I mean, it's a great way to start the movie. I mean, obviously, you start more first on Rosebud and all that stuff, and like obviously the gates and all that stuff, and like just feeling that isolation from the character.
But what's insane about the movie is like this entire film is basically, I don't know how to end this newsreel right. What? Here, all expenses paid. Find out what the last thing he said was for some reason. What was that? Rosebud, what's that mean?
You're totally right, Eric. It blew me away. I'm like, this is about a newsreel? Like, this is the most expensive newsreel ever made.
Absolutely, dude. And I like, are we to believe that this is something that a Kane-owned thing is running, or no?
I don't think so.
Are they from like an opposing news organization or something?
You're not
I do not recall.
But I don't think
so.
he's a Kane guy though. And
No.
it is this thing where it's like, we're gonna blow the story wide open, and it's like, oh, so what is this esoteric existential newsreel you're gonna make? No man is knowable. News on the march.
Listen, it was
existence is fleeting.
We just pulled ourselves out of the Great Depression. Everyone can have a job, whatever you want to. You want to go find out the ending in the newsreel? Okay, here's $20,000 to walk around the country and interview random people.
The utility of it is, like, I guess, celebrating the life and notifying everybody of the death of fucking Charles Foster Kane. Yeah, just hold that off for like 3 weeks. That's good.
I mean, yeah, I guess the thing is, like, I don't know, like if you had to do an obit or something, you don't exactly have like the internet to do research in that way. So I guess if you're trying to make like a really fucking polished filmed obituary newsreel, I don't know.
Still, fucking Hearst dies and 4 weeks later an obituary runs. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
I think at that point, you don't see what happens when, what is this dude Thompson, the guy, comes back to the office after like totally striking out at Xanadu. I think what you miss is the guy being like, well, he's been dead for like a month now. We got to turn this into a TV special. We get the news on the march thing out of here. Get somebody in to narrate it, not like a newscaster. Now we just have to air it on television. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot, Thompson. And your fucking fruitless endeavor trying to find out what this word meant.
I don't know. Did Kane know Dean Martin too? Can we get him on this?
Oh, the post life roast, dude. Those are great.
I love all of the like map painting shit at the beginning, seeing Xanadu and like the slow creep through the property, like the fucking rundown zoo. We were laughing at the monkeys last night.
The monkeys are great. I mean, also at the end, we're chucking all the detritus into the furnace. Obviously, that's where Rosebud goes. Spoiler alert. I think some of those monkeys and some of the animals they can't place are going in there like, I don't know what the fuck are we gonna do with a giraffe? Just get in the furnace.
Dude, totally. You see the size of that fireplace, dude? Get a fucking fire going in there. Right in you go, elephants.
We're gonna have a very exotic buffet, a going away buffet for everybody. I hope you all like some interesting proteins.
I also like the idea. It's like, no, we can't donate. Like Charles Foster Kane in his will said, you can't donate any of this fucking furniture to Goodwill or whatever. Throw it in the furnace.
Yeah, I don't want any of those poor people getting it. I mean, that's the last thing that this chair deserves.
I want to blot out the sun with my fucking earnings, please.
No, the dirty money, burn it. I don't. I want only
dirty
clean money.
Also, speaking of the zoo, in the newsreel, they said it's like the biggest zoo since Noah.
Well, he's getting two of every animal. Is he breeding these fucking things?
I mean, he's got a complete,
Yeah, I like to watch them fuck.
he's got a complete god complex, and that's also the retreat to Xanadu, the one place he's in charge of literally everything.
I also think this is part of a leftover from an old script he had, because he did write a script about Noah and the Ark.
So, Jed, have you ever watched two spider monkeys fucked? Why don't you come down to Xanadu? Listen, we'll get tanked, we'll watch the spider monkeys fuck, and we'll get over this whole stupid article business. It's going to be great, Jed.
Have you ever watched slugs do it? Your mind will be blown.
Trying to guess which sound of fucking is louder, those rhesus monkeys or the slugs.
My movie on Noah, it's going to be him smoking a cigar, just vibing, watching the animals fornicate.
The loot of the world, we're told by the newsreel that's what they're calling like his stash. That's pretty great. The loot of, because it also implies like he stole it. Like, obviously, he paid for all that shit, but like, fuck you, dude. You shouldn't have all that stuff.
Exactly. He's like a financial Genghis Khan going around the world.
And I think I just wrote down like a bunch of hilarious clips, like audio bits from that narration. One of the best in the entire thing is 1941's biggest, strangest funeral.
Have you ever seen a costume party for a funeral? Oh, look, it's Batman and Robin.
Oh, look, here's a floral wreath from Adolf Hitler.
Oh, and the final pallbearer, of course, Santa Claus. Welcome.
Christmas is right around the corner. It's like the Macy's Day Parade here at fucking Charles Foster Kane's funeral.
Is he buried on property, you think?
Yeah.
I can't recall. Was there like a mausoleum shot or anything in the newsreel?
I don't think so. I guess Xanadu itself is a mausoleum.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, just put it anywhere.
Well,
Yeah.
did you see this thing in Kane's will? He said he's supposed to be fed to the elephants.
Oh, dude, nice.
Jesus. Okay, cut him up, boys.
Yeah, so then you're to have Edison come in and electrocute the elephants.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously starts with the famous whispering of Rosebud drops that poor snow globe. I love the shot of he's just got the camera on that mirror, and you see the nurse come into the room that way. Just like, it's not a fucking cinematography podcast by any means, but like, man, this movie is brilliantly shot.
Greg Tolan, man, the miracle worker.
Did he work with him repeatedly, or was this it?
I think this might. Tolan had a long career, but I forget if he worked on Ambersons. I think he might have.
It looks Ambersons looks extremely similar. If not, definitely his ideals were taken.
Yes.
Right.
So
yeah,
who do you
yeah.
think? Well, we don't have to really. Who is a better overweight black and white first time film director, Kevin Smith or Orson Welles?
I got to go Smith in that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're
of
right.
course.
You're totally right.
I think I'm right.
Orson Welles here. And I'm going to play Smith is. Thank you for bringing him up, by the way.
No problem.
When we were talking about Peter Bogdanovich earlier as being one of the first like fanboy directors, I mean that is a domino to Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith could make a magnificent Ambersons. Orson Welles could not make a Tusk.
Yes, I maxed out all my credit cards here in New Jersey.
Tolan did not shoot.
Really?
Ambersons.
Okay.
No.
Maybe this was it then.
I mean, that's the thing is like there's great acting here, and obviously the cinematography is amazing, but also like just sort of like the lathe of the story just kind of peeling back each time it goes over, kind of like figuring out, getting a little closer to this thing while not getting closer. The structure of the movie too is just like it's just as effective now as it is then. You know what I mean? Which is a lame thing to say, but it's true.
Absolutely, yeah.
One thing I really notice more and more with him every time I go back to him is the pacing. It's like lightning.
Yes.
It moves so quick.
it's 2 hours, and it could be 3. You know what I mean? It easily could be 3 with the subject matter, and also like, just because I just finished watching The Queen's Gambit, I'm like, can we have more movies, please, and less like 8-hour television series about one idea? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, is that what that thing's doing?
It is. It should just be a 2-hour movie, and it would be it would be great. It's just a good 8-hour TV series. You know what I mean? Like, if we could just like focus, ladies and gentlemen, on something. You got a great performance. You got a good budget. Just make a movie, and then I'm out of there in 2 hours, and I've got the idea.
Chris, you know what Tolan shot? Grapes of Wrath, directed by Ford.
Yeah, he did. I think he did a few Fords. I know he also did The Best Years of Our Lives, which is the best Oscar winner ever.
I don't know that I've ever seen that movie.
It's I think it's Wellman.
Mm-hmm. That is the movie where
better than Green Book is what you're saying,
but much better. William Wyler, not Wellman. Sorry.
Russell Crowe is drinking wine in that movie, right? And he's like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, Marion Cotillard's there.
Oh, that's the good years of our lives. I'm sorry.
What movie are you talking about?
It's called A Good Year. I mean, you guys, you talk about being film literate and you don't know latter-day Russell Crowe movies?
Hey, I am aware of that Road Rage movie that Chris Cabin loves.
I love it too, actually. It's
really?
It's a big fat masterpiece. I mean, it's not great.
It's just Russell Crowe being incredible. Like, he's incrediable in that movie.
But like,
and he is the planet Jupiter in that film. Yeah. It's incredible.
Oh, he's a gaseous planet. He's farting all through the movie. That's what's happening.
He's a big man, is what I'm saying.
So they're not having it with the newsreel, such as it is, because there's just something missing. Got to find out about Rosebud. You have this guy who orchestrates this whole scene in the screening room where it's very theatrical. So we're like, what? It got to get to the bottom of this man's mind. Find out about Rosebud. And he sends this motherfucker Thompson. I love how none of these News on the March screening room vultures, you really get a good look at their face.
Yes, yeah.
And Thompson is more or less faceless throughout the entire movie, which is fucking great.
Well, because it's a great. I mean, like this, of course, been written about 100 times, but like you don't know their ends. Yeah. You don't know what they really want from it, and that's what's beautiful about being bathed in black is that you don't know what they want.
That's true. Now I'm reading through my notes, and I think they are pretty much impartial on this newsreel anyway, because they use headlines of newspapers with varying messaging, such as CF, Charles Foster Kane dies after lifetime of service.
Oh,
Kane, sponsor of democracy, dies. Chicago Globe headline, death calls publisher Charles Kane. Subheadline, stormy career ends for U.S. fascist number one.
So the first place that we go to, I don't know if this is supposed to be California, or maybe this is also in Florida, but it is the club that Susan Alexander is rotting away the rest of her life.
This is Atlantic City.
Oh, AC. That's right. The something club, I have it later in my notes where they go back there, but so Thompson goes in and he's like, hey, woman who kind of just found out a few days ago that her ex-husband died and you clearly just live in a bathtub of alcohol, open up to me immediately and tell me everything about this guy. And she fucking loses it on this dude.
It's great. There's a real great who told you could sit down, which I love.
Oh, sure, dude. I've always wanted to say that to somebody.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from.
Well, the problem is nobody ever wants to sit with me.
Just so you could tell them to not sit there?
Yeah, exactly. Who told you could sit down? Get the
great
fuck
Dorothy
out of here.
Comingore here.
Yes.
Who is this?
Dorothy Comingore.
Should I know her from other things?
Gesundheit.
I'm just giving the actress a name as opposed to just,
Well, no, you said the great.
Well, she's great in this movie. I don't know.
Oh, no. Well, I thought usually when we say that, it's, there's other knowledge of a project or something that I may have missed. And I was like, oh, fuck, is this lady, somebody huge? But no, she was also in North of the Yukon, Comet Over Broadway. I guess the deal is, though, after this movie came out, I think she was one of the women that Hearst got blacklisted.
Oh, that makes sense.
So she wound up just having a total fucking shit career for a really long time.
Well, I love the end of this movie because so many people were unknown. The end is like fucking Ghostbusters, where like, and here's our players, and like, you know what I mean, like just showing you get to see everybody.
Well,
and
it's so great. I mean, because so many of these actors were part of his Mercury Players company, and I was really appreciating how theatrical so much of this feels. Even though it's like, you know, it was quite revolutionary filmmaking, there's just something, and a lot of it I think is invoked because of the actors, like just the feel of these performances. And, you know, when it steps into some crazy melodrama, it feels like almost staged melodrama. The fact that like when they're in Xanadu, you know, they have to keep fucking yelling at each other because it's so big, but it's as if they are having to project for a theater, you know, make sure the people in the back can hear you, kind of a thing. So all of that, you know, theaterness, the stage playness.
Mr. Wells, I hate to be that guy. These things you're seeing, these are microphones. We capture the sound and play it later. So you could use whatever modulation you like. I just want to let you know that there's no one in the back row necessarily that you need to.
I was really jealous of that cavernous Xanadu, especially during this COVID quarantine, just letting people know in the future, if you're listening to this episode, we're recording this in the worst time of life. Well, I don't know what the future is. So maybe it's going to get worse. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Walk that back a little bit.
Yeah, don't speak too soon.
Just let the Martians know I'm on their side.
Well, it would be nice to have a place you could walk 7 miles within.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Charles Foster Kane will not wear a mask.
I will not have my liberties trampled on by putting a mask over this mouth.
You sheeple wearing a mask.
Listen, everyone in my newspaper can wear a mask, but I shall not.
How am I supposed to drink my Paul Maison wine if I have a mask over my wine hole?
New in the Inquirer, it says, Q, trust the plan. Get your papers here.
Was Charles Foster Kane Q? Find out. Did he fake his own death to come back later?
Q Foster Kane.
Q Foster Kane.
We all know that rotten Jim Geddes Jr. faked his own death.
Extra, extra, the cure is here. Chloroform is the cure for the COVID virus.
Yes, Jim Geddes drinks adrenochrome, ladies and gentlemen. And you know how they harvest that, don't you?
He would have been perfect in this time, actually.
That's the thing. Is like you can compare him to Trump in so many ways. Like, what does Kafifi mean? Maybe that is his rosebud. But Charles Foster Kane would have been a better president because he's competent in some way.
Oh, he would have gotten more evil shit done for sure.
Yes.
It would have been, it would have been totally evil, but it would have at least been competently run and executed evil.
Well, that's the thing, is that Trump always pretended to be a populist and he wasn't. And I mean, I feel like Kane would have been a populist, but just as evil. You know what I mean? It's like Trump with actual populism behind him, which would have been much more dangerous.
Yeah, I think he'd be more like a second-term poppy.
I guess the correct like amalgamation of these people would be like if Rupert Murdoch was Trump.
Yeah, that's fair.
And won because he's got the newspaper apparatus.
Right. Yeah, the newspaper's got to come first. Unlike this motherfucker maybe doing news. You know what? Fuck that guy. You know, one difference though with that piece of shit is that apparently back in 1871, it appears as if Charles Foster Kane's father did love him. Which is maybe the one difference here, or maybe loved the gold money that the wife was getting. I don't know. What a strange arrangement.
I had to watch the scene twice. I'm like, wait, who's getting what and why? Why is this boy for sale?
Yes.
It is boy for sale, dude, more or less.
But the thing about the father loving him, like seemingly because he's like, I don't understand why the kid has to leave Colorado and leave our weird homestead. But he also at the same time, the mother says some line about like, well, you know, you're not gonna be able to hit him all the time anymore.
Oh, exactly. I missed that.
Yeah, no, that's a huge line. It's kind of
more like Fred Trump than I realized then. Okay.
Which I was kind of shocked, especially at 1871, that we actually cared about child abuse at all. I mean, or even 1941. But it is interesting, like that's sort of part of her reason is like, this guy's a fucking lousy drunk. He's going to beat this kid to death, and I'm not going to let it happen. Also, I'm gonna send him to this weird fuck. I don't even know what Mr. Thatcher's all about, dude. But I don't like the looks of him. I'll tell you that much.
Look, Mary. I know. I shouldn't have hit him when he didn't wear a tie to the baseball game. I know I shouldn't have done it, but it's disgusting. Okay, you don't have to sell the boy.
It is a pretty wild arrangement that they have, though, where the deal is you give us this kid that this bank will make sure goes to like the best boarding schools and yada yada and has like worldly life experiences, and we'll give each of you $50,000 a year every year, and then when one of you fucking dies, the other one continues to get your 50 grand a year. So you're getting 100 grand a year in 1871. And let me tell you, I tried to do the inflation and I couldn't because the inflation calculator only goes back to 1913. So at which point it was over $2 million a year.
Right. And
I'd fucking sell a kid I hated for $2 million a year.
I'd sell both my legs. You can get both of them. You can take both those motherfuckers. They're
Yeah.
And then
useless.
all you do, Steve, you wait a couple years, you save up maybe like $4-6 million.
Yeah.
And then you just invest in the greatest artificial legs that have ever existed.
Absolutely. Or a legitimate 1992 X-Men Professor X wheelchair, the yellow one that hovers is what we're talking about.
It was supposed to hover.
I
Take
paid
it back.
$6 million. Where are the side panels?
Everybody wants the fucking Baron Harkonnen floating suit.
Precisely.
or maybe Darth Maul fucking spider feet. I could see Kane rocking
Ooh, some
those pretty
spider
well.
feet.
I
Not
can't
bad.
do spider feet, man. I'll tell you right now, I gotta look like a person.
Yeah.
I
you wanna put
can't
it
look
in
like a
slacks.
half animal.
By the way,
you know?
on the family frontier, I think it was some weird thing about like they had like rights to some fucking gold digging operation that there was thought to
Yes.
be dry, but I guess now is flush with cash. So it's like give the mine to the bank, and they're gonna raise your kid to be like an aristocrat, I guess.
And like, yeah, and they later on when they're going over his earnings, they say it's the second biggest gold mine in the world or something like that, which makes him having the sixth largest fortune in the world, yada yada yada. But it's a lot of fucking money is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
And
when
I
he's-
do, yeah, and this kid's not having it because he's he's screaming union forever. He's throwing fucking snowballs at his own house. It's 1871. It's before the switch, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we had to do.
Be thankful he was yelling the union for it.
That's a really good point.
Now that would be a
seriously.
controversial thing. Actually, we have a fucking outgoing president who says the opposite.
It's true.
And it is kind of really, I mean, obviously the sled is rosebud, but we don't know that yet. It is sort of, interesting again from a storytelling standpoint that he literally hits this fucking rich piece of shit with this sled. Like, it's like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want this kind of a thing.
Absolutely. And this is Mr. Thatcher,
Mm-hmm.
who the way we get to this part of the story is creepy. It's the creepiest part of the movie to me.
No, come with me. I'm Mr. Thatcher. I'll make an amusement park. You could play with some gorillas in my zoo.
Well, that's creepy. But as far as getting to the flashback, it's this dude Thompson going to the archive of this guy Thatcher, and he wants to read from an unpublished manuscript, and it's like just the pages that involve Charles Foster Kane, and it's the craziest like fucking Thatcher, man. I mean, he was this like bank dude. He must have been really rolling in it because there's like this woman who's like sitting at a desk who's like very wary to let him in at all. There's a fucking armed security guard like in this vault. Being like, if you read past page 142, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking head.
A, he's loaded. B, he's totally Macaulay Culkining this kid. He's siphoning off some of those riches for himself.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I bet. Well, because he still has so much money. There's it's a weird moment that's thrown in where I think it might be like the tail end of this dude reading this archive shit, where you have that scene where it's Kane, this guy Thatcher, and I believe, is it Leland is also there, or maybe the short little guy
Bernstein.
It might be Bernstein. It's one of the other two guys. So it's three of them at a table, and it's when he has to sell over the newspaper as he's like a slightly older man.
Yes,
he's like totally fucking bankrupt. I think you're right, Steve, because that dude Thatcher's like Yeah, come on home. That's where all the fucking gold money is. Come back and sleep at the bank with us again.
It is, yeah, and like, you know, so like I love this sequence of you see his childhood. It's literally, and it's, you know, I'm a huge fan. I kind of, you know, we talk about trading scenes a lot. I'm a huge fan of not seeing childhoods. I think unless the movie's specifically about that, I
kept my eyes closed during my entire childhood too.
You're just talking about if there's like some sort of biographical thing or something, like you don't need to see, like I really like. I haven't revisited it in a long time. I don't actually know if it's a good movie, but I know that the parts of Ray that never worked for me was Ray as a little kid, Ray Charles as a child. Like, I don't give a shit.
No, unless it's super important, and that you can even get that information out as adults. You know what I mean? You don't need to have them as a little kid, like going through the things, like especially those like SNL movies, like the beginning of Tommy Boy specifically, where you just have to see him say shnikes, and you have to see little David Spade be like, I'm gonna be a jerk when I grow up. Like, who gives a shit? Just start the movie.
I totally forgot about that.
Or like a previous episode back in the Patreon archive, Gone Fishing.
Yes.
Where it's Lil Danny Glover and Lil Joe Pesci.
Exactly.
It's like,
right.
And especially too in a biography of like an artist or something, it's like, hey man, they're making a biography about you, a biographical film. Like, you're an artist, you're a creator. I don't know. Odds are your childhood fucking sucked. So I'm just going to make that assumption and let's get to the fucking piano player.
Well, yeah, 'cause they do the same thing with Walk the Line. It was just something that all musical biopics did for a while.
Right. And The Phantom Menace as well.
Yes, exactly.
But the problem
Thank you, Eric.
all of our fucking white old man directors are grampy age, and they're like, oh, where's the little kid at?
Yep, you're totally right. But that's what's great. It's like literally like he goes to Thatcher's house. It's like, Merry Christmas. He gets a new sled, which he hates, obviously.
Right.
And a Happy New Year. He's 25 in like 2 seconds. It rules.
It is such a great cut. The fucking editing in this movie, man. And you have to be on your toes with the editing if you're fucking making a movie like this that is literally tap dancing all around the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
I mean, it's also good just to do the news on the march. Really just lets you get the plot out of the way.
Exactly.
What was the general view of his life? You get it right off the bat. So now he doesn't have to hit those moments so hard.
Yeah, totally.
And now he can just focus on these cool moments with him.
Absolutely.
You're peeling an onion, baby. That's what no, you really are. It's the best.
One of those cool moments is trying to stoke a war between America and Spain.
Hell yeah.
Dude, he's obsessed with starting the Spanish-American War.
It's amazing.
Is that what this is supposed to be?
Yeah,
right?
I believe
terrible
so.
with history. Ugh.
And there's talk about, like, our guy in Cuba says, I can give you some prose and poetry or shit, but there's no war in Cuba. And he's like, oh, you send the prose, I'll supply the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, the dude sucks, but that's a great line. Because he has a thing where he comes back from college overseas. He's been kicked out of another school.
Right.
And he says, I think it would be fun to run a newspaper. And that sort of launches
that was in the
his
letters
early career.
back and forth. And one of the great lines in that, too, is, I'm not interested in gold mines, oil wells, shipping, or real estate. I think it'd be fun
that's
to run a
right. Yeah.
newspaper.
Yes, he says like, oh, I noticed that I guess what happened was he was like, hey, Thatcher, I've failed out of another school, so I'm just coming back home to America. And he was like, all right, Charles, here's a fucking list of all the things that this Kane Trust or whatever owns. Like, pick something to do. Because he's like, I noticed that you also here have a small newspaper. That might be fun.
Oh, ocean liners, huh? Well, Carnival Cruises, maybe. No. Let's do the paper.
It is
Orson Welles on a cruise. Look out for that midnight buffet, dude.
It is brutal. He comes in, fucking little rich boy, and like, this guy's been running the Inquirer forever, this old fuck, and then he's just like, oh, is that your office? Sorry. No,
Dude,
it's my office. Daddy bought the paper.
It's not even this is going to be my office. It's this is where my bedroom is now. Because like the first thing you see them move in is a fucking mattress. And he's like, this poor guy's like, now what's going on here, sir? I know you're the new publisher of the Inquirer, but come on. And he's like, well, the news never sleeps, and neither will I. Your office is my bedroom, motherfucker.
Now you're a janitor. That's right.
Clean my bedpan, janitor. I piss and shit in your office.
All right, we're going to start with an opinion disc. We're going to have an opinion paper. This is a young David Brooks here that's going to write for us.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, we're going to revolutionize newspapers. There's going to be a lazy orange cat cartoon every single week. I will call him Garfield.
Oh, I love lasagna. He could like lasagna, too.
Dude, it was literally just what Charles Kane was eating at the time. And his favorite food shall be, well, I guess it's lasagna.
And what do you men say every morning? Oh, you hate Monday, do you?
Oh, no, they never have the scones with the heavy butter on Mondays. I hate Mondays, goddammit, and so would Garfield.
Well, I think Jim Davis has like the 7th largest fortune in America.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
I think he's also a Florida guy, too, right?
That makes sense.
Oh, he's got his own little fucking Garfield-funded Xanadu down there?
I would
believe
like
so.
a shot-for-shot remake of Citizen Kane, but about Jim Davis instead.
Citizen Davis, dude, I'm totally down.
He's at a
There's
podium, but he's just like, is talking like, hi, my name is Jim Davis.
But
Yes.
it's still sold out Madison Square
Yes.
Garden.
Hi, how are you all doing? I've never talked in a place this big before. Jeez,
Wow,
this is big.
so many of you want to hear about that cat, huh?
By the way, apparently Jim Davis resides in Albany, Indiana. So how about that?
That Garfield money goes far there, dude. I'll tell you that much.
That's
Oh
right.
my God, I bet he's the fucking king of Albany, Indiana.
He's probably
He
got
owns it.
he's got a cat zoo.
He can fucking, it's like on Schitt's Creek. They just like bought that town at a price.
Yes,
My,
actually,
my mansion, Catadoo.
yes, actually, I do feed all the cats lasagna. I make it every morning, and I make it in a big tray. And I have all these huge fat cats here.
As much as I like Italian food, man, lasagna is fucking low on the list.
Really?
Really?
Oh,
Sorry,
it depends.
Garfield.
You can get bad lasagna, but you can get great lasagna.
I'm not saying
Oh, yeah, sure.
I hate it.
Where
I'm
do you-
just saying like,
Where do you fall on baked ziti?
oh, it's up there, dude.
See, then, I prefer lasagna to baked ziti
Me too.
10-1.
Interesting. And now, but the thing is, of course, we have to acknowledge that the illustrations in Garfield are a total fucking lie, and
Yes.
that cat is eating fucking stuffed manicotti.
Yep.
You know, come on.
And that's
Come
what
on.
Jim Davis's greatest crime is.
So yeah, it's kind of great because
James Robert Davis, you are sentenced to hang from the neck until dead.
they have the great moment of like what's his face walks in. Thatcher walks into the newspaper. He's like, now, Kane, you are fucking this up here. This used to be a reputable newspaper, and now you've turned it into this muckraking rag. And he's like reading all these headlines and whatever. And Kane has this really great moment where he's like, you have to understand, you're talking to two people. He's like, there's Charles Foster Kane, the dude that you fucking bought from Colorado. And he's like the man of the people, and he fucking, or, you know, he's a rich dude and he understands where you're coming from. But then you're also speaking with Charles Foster Kane, the newspaper man, and I'll run you all right out of town. Like he fucking switches on a dime with this dude. They have a big fight, and he's like, you know, at this rate, you're losing $1 million a year. You're going to lose $1 million this year on the paper. And he's like, that's cool. And I'll lose $1 million next year and the year after that. And if I keep doing that, I'll have to close this place in 60 years. And then it cuts to 1929, so not that long later, and it's the quick scene of him relinquishing the newspaper ownership.
Thatcher just like bonks him over the head and like brings him back to California. I'm returning you to your parents. This is a bad investment.
He says to Kane at the end of this, you know, what would you, they're talking about like, well, what are you going to do now? You know, and he says, Thatcher says to him, what would you like to be? And Kane says, everything you hate.
So good.
Which is the fucking best. And then
I shall become Batman, actually.
I decided I'll be the Caped Crusader.
Oh, this suit isn't very roomy, is it? Oh, oh boy. Oh.
Well, that's the thing, dude. You know, if this was, Citizen Kane comes out, you know, it was obviously a critical and commercial flop at the time, or critics liked it, you know, it didn't make a lot of money, but they'd be like, oh man, what Avengers movie is Orson Welles gonna make, dude? Do you think he's like a Moon Knight guy, or what do you think?
Ooh, Orson Welles is Moon Knight. Would he be playing Moon Knight or he's just directing the movie?
Maybe a bit of both.
And Moon Knight's a guy that was like in a shiny suit of armor, but he likes showing his buttocks to people.
Yeah, he mooned people. That was
I see.
I was trying to grab my head around the character.
No, he was the Moon Knight.
Oh man, I ran out to the Ren Fair and I forgot the fucking ass cover of my night outfit here. Oh no.
Hey, you just got Moon Knighted, motherfucker.
Oh my god, hey Moon Knight.
Yeah, look at my fucking butt cheeks.
Now you notice the use of deep focus on his mooning ass. Very, very Wellesian. Very perfect.
We should say the entire film in deep focus.
It's
The
really
entire
good.
film, deep focus. Looks fucking great.
Well, like even like the shots of with him and his family before he's taken away by Thatcher are amazing because you get to see him playing outside the window in like complete focus.
I mean,
Yeah,
the feeling is
exactly.
really 3D, but not 3D.
Yes.
Like you actually see,
Yep.
he brings your eye. Like a lot of the things he does is bringing your eyes back to the back of the room and then back forward.
Yes.
So that you're fully aware of the whole space.
So much of this movie has that in the newsrooms and parties. You can watch
Yep.
other people there, and it makes it feel way more real in a way.
Yeah, it's really incredible. So he goes to see this is Thompson, by the way. Thompson in the present day of the film goes to see Bernstein. And Bernstein, it's kind of hilarious because Bernstein, even though he's been with Kane, like one of the longest of all the Kane allies, he's got like almost nothing to tell him.
Well, my man Bernstein is the guy I want to be in this movie. He's just, I don't know, he gets in at 9, leaves at 5, you know, whatever. The evil shit isn't really his problem. He made a ton of money. He's cool.
Yeah, your ice statue at the celebration has a little bigger nose than you might have wanted. But
Yes.
fine. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the thing about it is, though, I've always seen Bernstein as a little bit of like a Renfield situation here. And it's
God,
like,
yeah.
oh, whatever you need, Mr. Kane, whatever you need, you know? And like, yeah, he totally profited off of that, but like, that dude never spoke up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll fucking take your money, dude, and I'll like kind of hang back and move your furniture around and all this like shit that he's doing for him.
Did Renfield outlive Dracula?
I think, does Renfield die in Dracula? I don't think he does.
I forget.
Isn't he just forever crazy?
Yeah, I think he goes to an insane asylum.
Yeah,
Right,
he's just
right,
locked up. He's cool.
And then he
He's having a
releases
good time.
Rain Dogs and Swordfish Trombones.
Exactly.
And then he finally gets out.
You know, because basically what we're revealing here is none of us has read Dracula. We're just going off of Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yes.
Francis Ford Coppola's film.
Great film.
Great film. I think Bernstein, by the way, once Kane dies, he jerks off for a week. It's like a full week of
yes.
masturbation.
Because he hasn't been able to jerk off in fucking 70 years, dude. He's been up Charles Foster Kane's ass, giving him every little fucking thing for decades.
But he's an older guy. What do they use back then to make your dick hard?
Hot sauce.
Yeah.
When you just put it in your
Turtle
urethra?
soup, I think. But you dip it in turtle soup.
You ate oysters and then you punched it for a while and then it got hard.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's just like starting an old car. You know, you can fucking turn that crank like Mr.
Hey, Barry,
Burns.
can I get some turtle soup to go? Oh, problem with the missus, eh?
Oh, I
No, just a problem with my dick.
yanked my crank black and blue.
Yeah. You don't have to put it in a bowl or anything. Just put it in a coffee cup. I'll drink it on the way.
That is like, I wish that Bernstein was a little more like celebratory.
Yeah.
When Thompson goes to see him, because I would be like, ding dong, the witch is dead, dude. Like, let's start fucking dancing right now.
The jerking off thing just makes me think of like Bernstein, poor old Bernstein at 2 a.m. in the morning, just like looking around, puts his hand down his pants. Then the fucking phone rings and it's Charles
Yep.
Foster Kane.
That's what I'm talking
Don't
about,
you-
cabin.
Well, you know,
Don't
even
you
in-
touch it, Bernstein.
Bernstein, I've got reports of you trying to touch it.
My spidey senses were going off.
I heard
Are
you.
you touching it?
I heard you
even-
put your other fingers up your asshole too. That is definitely a no-no, Mister. Definitely a no-no.
Why don't you learn to jerk off like a man?
If even Kane died, the shadow and specter of him haunted this dude for so long. He might not be able to nut.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's fair.
too scared to jerk off.
Yeah.
That's a sign that you have a bad boss.
Because also, if I knew Charles Foster Kane, I'd be like, okay, if there's any ghosts, this guy's probably going to be one of them.
Oh yeah, dude. Because why would he want to move on to hell or heaven or whatever? I'm gonna stick around and haunt this newspaper office and make sure they fucking get the paper out on time for the rest of time.
This headline's not sensational enough.
Make it more sensational.
I've found a solution for us here, Bernstein. I've gotten you a prostitute, and I'm going to sit right here and watch you fuck her.
That's right, Bernstein. You're going to cuck me with this prostitute. Now let's go.
The New York Post is stealing my act. Ooh.
So Bernstein is like, I got nothing for you, dude. Why don't you go see Jedediah Leland? Terrible name. And here comes Joseph motherfucking Cotton into this movie, dude. One of the absolute greatest actors of all time. I love this guy.
He's
I love
great.
him. I love Shadow of a Doubt. He's amazing in that movie.
And he's been with Wells for a while. He was in Wells' first movie, Too Much Johnson.
Have you seen Too Much Johnson? Is it available anywhere?
It's available. You can... what'd you say, Eric?
Oh, whenever I look in the mirror.
Wow, that's Too Much Johnson.
Medically, this is a problem.
That's the last line of Boogie Nights.
Yes.
Yo, bro, I got Too Much Johnson.
You're a fucking star. Look at Too Much Johnson down there.
It's an interesting the story is hard to follow. I don't think he really meant for you to follow it, but the filmmaking is incredible. And you can find it. I think it came out in some form. It was definitely out there.
One of my favorite Joseph Cotton performances ever is he's on an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents where he plays a dude who gets in a car accident. It's like a rollover or something, and he's fucking paralyzed. And the whole episode is him like just laying there, like thinking about shit, and then like people come for him and stuff, and they don't realize like what's going on. It's a great episode, but it's all like Joseph Cotton, like facial expressions mixed with like voiceover narration of his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking rad if you can track it down. I know Hitchcock Presents is like streaming in a bunch of places. Definite recommend. But so Jedediah Leland was like, Charles Foster Kane's right-hand man, since before he was a newspaper man.
He's at this old folks home looking like Stan motherfucking Lee. Let me tell you, he's got the little mustache going. He's got a little hat. He's got the sunglasses.
I was loving it. I was also loving the fact that because they give what's his face Thatcher, Bernstein. God, so many names in this movie. Bernstein's like, when he says go see Leland, he says, Leland is living in this hospital. And the hospital area that he's referring to is on 180th Street here in Manhattan. As a resident of Upper Manhattan, I was so stoked. I used to live like right up the street from where they were talking about right here, like that whole hospital complex area. So he's like living on like the northern Upper West Side of Manhattan. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and by the way,
that's the great shot of like the the George Washington Bridge and everything. Anyway,
like Stan Lee was also probably grabbing at those nurses.
Oh yeah, dude! I bet he was handsy.
Well, I was kind of thinking like he's not coded gay, but like he very well could be like a gay character, just because like there's no romantic interest whatsoever. Everything is about Kane. He's not coded in any way. It's not like Faye or anything like that, but it is just sort of like you don't know what's going on with this guy. And the only thing he says about the nurses actually is that they're not very good looking, which is also
right. That's true.
All I know about him is that he has a death wish, because he's like, can you bring me some cigars? They say it might kill me, but I don't really give a fuck.
Well, Cabot, I mean, when you're that old,
why not?
Dude,
But I feel like I'm totally with him. It's fine, but like it's just amazing that that's all. Other than Kane, that's all he can hammer home is like, okay, get me some tobacco, please.
Chris Cabin, if they put you in a fucking like a home or whatever, and you don't get
I've got the paperwork half filled out for Chris. Don't even worry about it.
I think the sooner the better. We've got power of attorney, right? Because we're all partners in the LLC.
Yeah. I haven't told Soph yet, but I know.
You are going to the booby hatch, my friend. And
you are going to the booby hatch.
you could not survive without marijuana in some way.
Oh, yeah,
at some point. So this poor man wants a fucking cigar, and
I'm not
Chris
judging
Cabin,
him.
Mr. Ivory Tower.
I'm
Throwing your bolts of lightning.
Dude, this
Zing.
guy doesn't
saying-
have a VC fucking R, my friend. He's got nothing in that place.
I am saying he should have asked for more. Give me fucking like illegal morphine, trial drugs, the first Quaaludes.
Give me two chimpanzees to fight each other.
Yeah, give me it all, man.
Well, I think the thing is, he doesn't want to like blow his brains out or like take a bunch of pills or whatever. He just understands like he's at the end of the road, and what does it matter? You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, just give me a sweet Smith & Wesson to fucking give me a goddamn, bullet sandwich or anything like that. It's just like who gives? It was always like, it reminds me of, my grandfather would be like, how about a little bit of vodka? And I'd be like, you know what, dude? Yeah, you're in your fucking 80s. Like, okay,
Let's go for it.
What are we doing?
At the end of it, he's like, you'll have to sneak them in toothpaste because this doctor is all up my ass about it. I'm like, I want to see this prison fucking cigar rig that this guy has to make.
Totally, dude.
Because he does agree.
Yeah, I think it's like
He just walks away.
yeah, he never fucking saw
And
that.
then this
dude
poor
again. He
old
never-
bastard's like, tomorrow that boy's coming with my cigars. Oh, tomorrow that boy is coming with my cigars.
That was
Exactly.
5 years ago.
Why won't you just die,
But
Leland?
tomorrow that boy, he's coming with my cigars.
He said he's bringing the codes in tomorrow.
No.
No.
But so this is like when he starts talking with Leland, we get the perspective of when he first came to the newspaper. And there's a great moment here where Kane, they're trying to get a newspaper out, and Kane writes this whole statement that he titles The Declaration of Principles, and it's all about like the New York Inquirer will always be honest with you. It'll always be about reporting first and the facts and the truth and the people and yada yada. And Kane makes them like print this on the front page of the newspaper, and Jedediah very smartly is like, when you're done like setting that up for the printing press, can you give that back to me? Because I think I'm gonna need to rub that in his face at some point.
Yeah, oh, dude,
Fucking 50 years from now.
he's playing the long game on a fucking I told you so, and I appreciate the hustle.
Absolutely. The original, it's sort of like they compared to the Declaration of Independence, like in that way. I love to, man, I mean, Charles Foster Kane was such a son of a bitch. Like, there's the great thing where he's like, they're trying to figure out why they don't have as much circulation numbers as the New York Chronicle. And they realize, like, oh, because the publisher of the Chronicle spent years like developing this newspaper team. And I guess it's like mainly just reporters, maybe some photographers or something. Kane just fucking buying all these dudes off to come work for him. What a son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's it.
We've got the big names: David Brooks, Brett Stevens,
Jeffrey
Goldberg.
Tubin.
Barry Weiss,
Yeah.
Matt Iglesias, everybody is here.
On sports, Joe Rogan.
Oh, dude.
Oh, fuck.
It's escalation. You start running sensational headlines, then they start publishing opinion editorials.
So he steals their whole staff. And this is where they have the celebratory dinner party.
We
to,
see.
like,
We also
welcome
see
all
the
these people.
circulation go from 26K to 495K on the window.
Not a bad,
Oh.
not a bad turnaround there.
Bit gauche to publish your download numbers.
Yeah, dude, it is kind of sad, right? I always thought that about McDonald's too. Like, oh, whoop-de-fuck, billions of hamburgers. Fuck you. Give a shit.
If anything,
Put that on a sign.
Makes me like it less. I don't like it that guy got it too.
They didn't want to see the game. They wanted to see amount of hamburgers sold.
But this is, there is a man, a certain man.
And he just starts getting into it, man.
And for the poor, you may be sure that he'll do all he can. Who is this one? His favorite son. Just by his action as the traction magnets on the run, who loves to smoke, enjoys a joke, who wouldn't be upset if he was really broke. With wealth
Steven
and fame.
Sadak. Steven Sadak.
He's still the same. Talking about coming on a podcast. Steven Sadak.
Yay.
I did think to myself watching that scene, because this time watching it, my eyes were only on Joseph Cotton and the other guy, Bernstein. God damn it. Yes, Bernstein. Come on, Andrew. Newspapers, Bernstein. Just do it. Because they're having their own little like side meeting while all this is going on. And I had the thought of like how I would react if one of you started having your theme song sung in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's one thing entirely to have a theme song sung about yourself and like you have to act a certain way. But like, if you're in the presence of someone else who's having a theme song sung about them, like, are you obligated to like pretend that that's cool?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Probably.
I mean, if it's his like birthday or something, you're like, oh man,
It's your
that's
boss.
awesome. You guys went to a lot of trouble for this.
It's not bad if I just like saw it, but it's the knowledge that he did like rehearsals for this. Like
Right.
this wasn't just all of a sudden, yeah, we're gonna sing the song. No, he had a whole thing ready to go.
Unless it was big on the airwaves before.
You think it was a bop in the day, dude?
No, I guess
Well,
not.
the thing is, the modern version of this is you getting fucking cake at your office. Like, oh, it's my birthday, I get cake. It's the same shit.
Number 1 on the charts. It's There Is a Man.
Yep, everybody's favorite newspaper magnate.
Yeah, it's called.
Coming up next, it's the theme song we all loved. There Is a Man, parentheses, Charles Foster Kane.
It's the Union Forever by the White Stripes.
I mean, to be fair, Party All the Time is kind of a theme song for Eddie Murphy.
That's very true.
They do have them. And like Heartbeat is probably that's Don Johnson. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's weird. I was about to say She's Like the Wind from Patrick Swayze, but that doesn't work.
No.
That's just a song he sang. Well, actually, though, I don't know. It could work. I mean, because Eddie Murphy's song is about a woman.
Yes, but
So that's She's Like the Wind is Patrick Swayze's theme song.
she's like an extension. He wants to party all the time too, but she's the one that really wants to party all the time.
You know what
right.
else is about a woman? I watched the TV movie last night, RKO 281,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
with Liev Schreiber as Orson Welles and James Cromwell as William Randolph Hearst and the amazing Malkovich as Mank. By the way, this is recorded before any of us has seen Mank, right?
Yeah, we're 2 days out.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, does it come out this Friday?
Yeah.
But he says in that, apparently it's alluded to that Rosebud was the nickname for Hearst's girlfriend's pussy.
Marion Davies.
Get out of town,
Yeah.
really?
So, like, this movie was so salacious and insulting to Hearst because it's all like all of his little cutesy words for pussy up there on the screen.
Well, I think that's also why the actress got the brunt of Hearst's anger is
Yeah,
because she's depicting Marion Davies, who he did love.
He also
Wow.
tried to call. He also tried to get Wells blacklisted as a communist as
Yep.
well. That's such a fucking baller move, man. I think they're good. I'm not trying to be a jerk on them, but I think that guy's a communist. Oh wait, his life is ruined. Cool.
I was doing that just last week.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, I don't know, officer. That's Steven Sadak. He seems like a pretty nice guy, but I think he's a communist.
That was the last time we actually truly deplatformed anyone.
Yeah. The communists. We deplatformed the communists.
That's why
Maybe
Ed
we
Harris
should
did not fucking rise up. Didn't do a fucking standing ovation for you, Elia Kazan. You rat fuck.
Exactly. Fuck that guy, even if he made good movies. And
Well-
I don't know about his daughter either.
Has everybody seen the clip of Orson Welles talking about Ilya Kazan? It's like 2 minutes long. It's on YouTube. You should find
no.
it. It's incredible because he's like, he's a traitor and he followed up fucking selling out all his colleagues with On the Waterfront, which is a celebration of The Informer. And he's like, so fuck that guy. Also, he's a very good director. And that's
Wait a second. He outed people before he made On the
Yep.
Waterfront?
Mm-hmm.
What an asshole. Was it like an apology tour production, do you think?
I mean, I guess at the time that's what it was, but like it's really just him like being like, no, it's good to inform on your friends, and it's
Oh, wait,
the
wait,
same. The communists and the mafia. It's the same thing.
Who else is up for the directing gig on the Waterfront? Oh, nice list. Oh, those are all communist guys. You know that? No, I'm not though.
Maybe we should try that now, too. Like, see if it would still stick. You know, I think, not for nothing, that Louis C.K., bit of a communist.
I think he's taken care of.
Yes. So, oh, you depend.
Is he though?
Yeah,
I don't know.
depends.
He still fucking creeps out on
Is he
clubs
he's
here
still
and
Oh,
there.
I
doing
guess he's
stand-up.
touring. Okay.
He's still doing stand-up.
Elia Kazan goes to a restaurant. I'm sorry, Mr. Kazan. We're all filled up. Oh, see that back table there, back by the that twosome by the kitchen there. I think both those dudes are communists. You know, sure, you're all full up. Like, I think actually, no, I think I think that there might be a communist in there. You might want to get rid of that. and get you there.
I see him now. Yeah, sitting at your very best table. Definitely communist.
They ordered trout. Yeah, this is a famous communist meal. Is trout.
Did you know Lenin loved trout?
The original idea for a communist flag was just going to be a drawing of a trout.
You know, Trotsky also liked bread and butter before a meal.
Oh God. So the conversation that Leland and Bernstein have here is great. He's like, these dudes that he just bought from the Chronicle, they share the Chronicle's values. So now that they're here, whose values do they share? And Bernstein's like, well, they'd share the Inquirer's values. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. But also, these newspaper guys could just easily turn Kane into what they are. And I wonder if there's some notion there of like, that's Kane becoming an asshole. Like, is there any possibility that before he hires those Chronicle guys,
he believes in one thing?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know that there's an easy answer, but I love Leland's suspicion there, the concern about it.
I don't buy it, but only because they never give you a point where you like the movie is all about Kane. So it can't be about anybody else's like manipulations of Kane.
Mm-hmm.
It's about him. So
it comes down to, and this is how it's similar to Trump in a way too, because I think in one of those scenes of Bernstein talking to the reporter in the office in the future, he mentions that like Kane, all he ever wanted out of life was love, but he didn't have any to give himself. Like he couldn't give love, but he needed love. He needs the people because he never had that with Thatcher and his parents.
I would have just loved if you rethought this whole movie as just a man who buys like millions and millions of sleds. Fills houses and cars and everything full of sleds. Can't stop buying sleds.
Right, like a model train guy.
Yeah,
or something.
just can't stop doing it.
In the newsreel, because they're talking about his vast empire, and they're like, "Oh yes, he's not just newspapers. He had grocery stores." And I'm like, "Oh wow, what a fucking like I don't know. Like half the people I know in the Bronx own a grocery store. Like I don't know. Like it's not a big deal,
Really?
No, not really. But you know what I mean. Like just grocery stores does not exactly wow me.
Corner stores that have the word grocery on the
Exactly.
Well, that's like, I think just the idea of like they were buying anything.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
don't they say like he owns fucking railroads or shit at one point?
Oh,
Paper
no.
mills and all sorts of stuff. And
Yeah.
We're in dire straits, boys. Sell the bodegas.
but bring me the bodega cats.
All right, we need a quick 10,000. Sell the bodegas.
I need the cats for my zoo.
Also, I'm starving.
I do love. I like the idea of Bernstein coming. Well, the newspapers are doing great, but we've got this problem in the in half the grocery stores. There's a little bit of an apple shortage. Like I cannot be dealing with apple shortages.
Why don't you just replace the apples with oranges? Case closed.
I have a new idea for a canned cat.
Oh, ew.
I do, but
yeah.
he goes off. He fucks off to Europe, and when
Yeah.
he goes there, there's intimations that he's obviously wooing somebody, and he comes back. They throw him this fucking party, and I swear to God, they give this man a trophy for going to Europe and coming back. Hey, Chris, remember we gave you that trophy when you came back from Germany?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Thank you.
It's a beautiful
I
trophy.
mean, at the time, most people didn't survive coming back from Germany.
That's fair.
I mean, I think
Trophy, though, man.
it is really hilarious. Just giving someone a trophy for surviving a vacation.
They put a blue ribbon on him.
Yeah, but I noticed this time through a detail that I've missed every other time I've watched the movie is when they're going through and surveying Xanadu at the end of it. Dude, that motherfucker kept that trophy.
Oh, he did?
That is
Yes.
that is in the collection. They're like, because someone I don't know if it's Thompson or somebody else reads the inscription on it, and it's the same like, congratulations, you made it back alive trophy.
Susan, where's my surviving Europe trophy? Susan, where'd you put it?
Meanwhile, the janitor is fucking cleaning the garbage. Like, yeah, my youngest son died last week, and I asked the company $50 to bury him. They didn't have it. Nice trophy, sir. Congratulations.
Yes. But where is the trophy? Where is the trophy, Myron?
Oh, well, I meant to ask you, sir, if we could use the furnace to dispose of my son.
Sure, that's fine. But first,
so
find the
gracious of you.
trophy.
So gracious of you, sir. So gracious of you.
I
He died
know,
of a
I know.
cold, by the way.
He sneezed too hard and his face fell off. It's fucking 1930, whatever.
I did forget there is a Rad Bernstein line when he's talking with Thompson in the interview, and he's talking about Leland. I think it's Leland here, and he says, that's what it is, because I think Thompson's like, oh, is he sick or something? And he goes, yeah, he's got something. Old age, the only disease you don't look forward to being cured of, which is a fucking great, like,
Oh, yeah.
there's only one cure for that.
Well,
it's
Leland.
Well, that's suggesting that he is also charting an exploration to find the Fountain of Youth, which he certainly is. Kane definitely has people looking for it.
Because that is what
Kane, yeah,
well,
maybe.
Kane dies of old age, right? He doesn't really die. They don't say what he dies of.
Yeah, he just kind of checks out.
A broken heart, sir.
No, he died of fucking like too much McDonald's.
It's like a heart attack from busting up Susan Alexander's fucking room. This dude is not in shape enough to be throwing around fucking vanities and dressers.
Dude, there is the part there where Orson Welles, the actor, is trying to rip those shelves off the wall, and it doesn't quite work the way he wants it to. Like, he's pulling on like the top shelf, and it doesn't budge. And then he goes to the bottom and just fucking drops the elbow on it to rip it off the wall.
Well, he does. Apparently, the old age makeup, like, it made it difficult for him to see, and that was why. And he seriously cut his hand during that scene.
Oh, really?
Yes, which is. I mean, the old age makeup looks fucking amazing. I mean, it's a little bit of trickery because everything looks a little bit better in black and white. You know what I mean? But even still, like, it looks incredible.
It's weird too. Before you get to like decrepitly old Kane, like just the age makeup setup right before that, looks like startlingly like he wound up looking.
Yes.
Like not including the weight gain that happened later, but like just in the face and the way they do the hair, I was like, wow, like they really kind of predicted how this man was going to age.
Yeah, they could. I mean, nobody could really foresee him growing the greatest beard of all time.
Oh, that fucking dagger beard he's sporting later on. It's amazing.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The king of all beards.
He kind of looks similar to that, what you were talking about, Andrew, with that middle stage where he's got the mustache in The Stranger. He kind of looks a little like that.
Oh, yes. The Stranger, great movie.
Very good.
Speaking of communists.
That's when I slept on my left hand, and
And I made a whole movie about jerking off and not feeling it.
You know, Edward G. Robinson and I, we used to jerk each other off after takes on The Stranger. It was a very intimate relationship between me and Eddie.
Yeah, see, Orson, get jerking, see?
I hit the G spot a few times.
What do you think the G stands for?
Come on, fat boy, I jerked you off.
Edward G. Spot Robinson.
Oh, God.
By the way, he was a Nazi in The Stranger. Just one.
Oh, yes, not a communist. He's a Nazi. That's right.
The G stands for glory.
Dude, so he goes to Europe and they give him this they come back and they give this, it's kind of, it's a very funny scene where like, he's like not paying attention. They made this whole fucking party, this trophy. And like, yeah, who's the society editor? Here, take this. And he kind of takes the thing and leaves. Basically, he's gotten engaged to the president's niece, dude. What a prized piece.
It's kind of outrageous, man.
I mean,
I was trying to do the math here. Who was the president at the time?
It's one of three.
it's
they
fictional.
don't. I don't know, but I don't know. They don't give you a specific year, do they?
No, but I mean,
It's either Taft, Roosevelt, or fucking Woodrow.
Well,
they
she says
say
Uncle John.
John,
Yeah.
that well-meaning fathead. So fathead makes me think Taft,
Teddy.
but that's not a John.
No,
Yeah,
no,
well-
it's fake for sure. But I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out who the stand is, who it's standing in for.
The thing is, any American president wouldn't be up to Charles Foster Kane's standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There is a great line where they're like, I think it's Leland or somebody says, president's niece, before she gets through with him, she'll be a president's wife,
Oh yeah.
which is pretty great. Of course, awkwardly foreshadowing his total political washout, which is fucking great. But yeah, so he does wind up marrying this woman.
Yeah.
And there's like a little bit of marital bliss, but I love how little sweetness there is in this movie, because it's just everything is ugly and gray and terrible because this guy's a monster. It's like 5 minutes, like 1.5 minutes of like, I love you, baby, and then it's like, I'm a fucking piece of shit. It's just
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of his problem is like, you look at how Trump operated. I mean, and again, this is a totally different era. Maybe back in the 30s or 40s, you needed prior elected official experience. So he's running for governor in this movie, and that's the stepping stone to president. If he ran straight for president, I don't know. He might have took it.
yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, if it was just like famed newspaper tycoon runs for president.
Right. And the fact that like,
That's right. I've got my famed newspaper tycoon. I'm running for president. Oh wait, no, I'm a fucking loser again. Mike Boo Boo Blumberg. I guess he was mayor. Oh, that's right. He was fucking the shitty mayor.
Yeah, I took the right steps. I was the mayor of this fair fucking city for way too long.
listen, just
Yeah.
like Charles Foster Kane, I also sunk hundreds of millions of dollars into Florida for no reason.
No more syrup and sodas. No more syrup. We're done with syrup.
I'm sick and tired of this boo-boo Blumberg trying to institute a soda policy in this fair city. And I, Charles Foster Kane, will tell you, you can drink as much soda as you'd like in a chalice as large as you'd like.
I also think it would be. I mean, there's a lot of parallels to Bloomberg as well. So it's like he's like a tiny Citizen Kane, a Citizen Candy Kane, if you will.
Oh, come on, everybody. That's great. Citizen Candy Cane. You're right, though. I bet also Bloomberg definitely tastes like peppermint.
Why don't you fucking suck it and find out?
My fingers.
Oh, ew.
So yeah, you know, he gets married to the president's niece, and this is the marriage where you have the famous montage of you see the marriage disintegrate through them at the breakfast table, which is just incredible.
Which Trump himself said was a very striking in his interview with Errol Morris.
Dude, let me tell you, Kevin, you sent that video around. You were like, here's the thing where Errol Morris interviewed Trump about Citizen Kane. I got through like his first two sentences and stopped watching it.
I watched the whole thing.
I did
too. The ending is the payoff, because it's just like, and Rosebud, for whatever reason, that word just worked. It was sounded like a good ending, and they went with means nothing.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. It's great.
What a stupid fucking idiot.
And like, you can tell more because he comes and he's like, well, what would you give it's like Errol Morris off camera, obviously. He's like, oh, what advice would you give to Charles Foster Kane? He's like, I would tell him, find another woman, man. and like Morris is just like, oh, I got this dumb son of a bitch. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Dude, fucking Errol Morris, by the way, with these Chipotle commercials, that's humiliating.
What is
I'm
this?
so-
What are you talking about?
Are you kidding? You don't know these?
No.
No,
I don't know this.
I think this is Jersey specific, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just it's a series of commercials of people who work at Chipotle, or maybe actors, probably people who work at Chipotle, I would guess, because it's Errol. I think it's at least faux directed by Errol Morris.
The thin brown line.
Where-
You got these people serving up burritos talking into the fucking Interatron. What are you talking about?
They're just like, oh yeah, well, it's like, so why do you think Chipotle has such great flavor? Well, it's because we cook it early in the morning and we make sure that yeah, it is fantastic. Chipotle. It's like it's a Chipotle commercial directed by Errol Morris.
So why did you torture all those prisoners in Abu Ghraib? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong script. Chipotle. What did you want? What did you like at Chipotle?
Can I just break your brains? What will be done with Errol Morris at Chipotle just now when I
Okay.
tell you that this series Errol Morris takes
Series?
It's a series of commercials.
Yeah.
Takes view. It's called Behind the Foil.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What is the description, though?
No, just Errol Morris takes viewers behind the foil at Chipotle. He's just.
Why?
This is
to
where,
what end?
This is where they contaminate the meat. It's right here. Look at that.
God, from the director of The Thin Blue Line comes Chipotle commercials.
So you don't think you want to wash your hands? Oh, great. That's fantastic. That where it gets its really brown flavor?
Was it a real coming of different points of his career when he was interviewing that one Chipotle employee who did a couple of really basic like scientific studies and was like, oh yeah, the Holocaust definitely did not happen.
That kept happening, actually, sadly. He had to cut out everyone in Chipotle as a Holocaust denier. And he's like, this is ridiculous.
I think Mr. Death now works at Chipotle. His life was such a disastrous ruin.
That's probably true.
I hope Mr. Death is indeed dead. He's the deceased Mr. Death.
Freddie Lichter, yeah, he's probably dead, I would imagine.
That movie was a while ago enough, right? That dude was old in that
It
movie.
was like
Yeah,
99 or something.
By the way, good movie.
Very
Great
good
movie.
Oh yeah, it's great. So he is married. This is Emily Norton is this character's name?
Yes.
The woman that he marries. So I guess it's it's the niece though, so maybe sharing of a name doesn't work. I was gonna say, it was President Norton. But
John
maybe
Norton.
not.
That is a president name.
Yeah, but from like a Harrison Ford movie or something.
By the way, according to IMDb, Fred A. Lichter Jr. is still alive.
Son
Get
a
out of
bitch.
He was
town.
Working
born
at
in
Chipotle.
1943. Yeah, he could work at
Oh.
Chipotle. Totally.
Wow, 1943. Oh, I thought he was much older than that.
Yeah, he just looked like
Wow.
shit, I guess.
I guess so.
Oh, that's
I mean,
ugly on the inside, ugly on the outside, my friends.
the world did come around to his ideas there.
They sure did.
I mean, it's living at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue right now.
But yeah, so then there's this whole montage showing like how him and his obsession with working at the newspaper is what is destroying their marriage. This is all the table. I love the fucking reveal of she's totally trolling him by reading the Chronicle at the breakfast table.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, that's great. Just spitting right in this asshole's face. It's fucking awesome. And this is like, they have one argument, and this is the great. She sets him up with, people will think, and he goes, what I tell them to think.
Yeah, man.
Great fucking Orson Welles yelling there. And then they mention around here too the same idea of I think this is Leland is narrating this part of the film, and this is where he's talking about how Kane wanted to be loved but couldn't love in return. That's fucking Donald Trump, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's Trump again.
well the big thing is the call him an anarchist.
Yes.
When he tells everybody, like, just call him an anarchist. That'll get him away.
Yeah.
That's
Call Kane an anarchist?
No, when Kane is telling people if you want to get rid of people, if you want to
yes.
fucking slander them, just call them an anarchist.
People,
Oh, I see, I see.
Antifa are out there. They're
Call them
reading the
Antifa, call them a
Chronicle.
communist,
Yep. It's a radical socialist lib dem. It's a lib dem.
Joe Biden.
Watch out.
Joe Biden is clearly a socialist. It's clear as day, folks.
I fucking wish, man. Come on.
And where does Joe Biden get his vicious socialist agenda? Well, obviously, it's reading the Chicago Tribune, which I do not own.
But that son of a bitch, Roger Ebert, wrote for them.
I'm a Cisco man through and through.
I mean, Roger, what were you thinking with those two thumbs? We may never know. Anyway, this is true.
Now I
Trumpian
have
fashion.
to watch. Now I have to watch this Orson Welles thing,
It's
Jesus, Donald Trump thing.
Yes,
So
when Ebert and Siskel both panned Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD, very unfair. Very unfair.
I love the sequence we get of him when he winds up meeting who becomes his second wife, Susan Alexander. He's like, it's kind of hilarious because like I don't know what Charles Kane is doing at that moment because he's like standing on the sidewalk, appears to be like waiting for a bus, but like that dude doesn't wait for a bus, and like a carriage comes by and goes through a puddle, and you just see this woman coming home, and she sees the carriage drive by and starts laughing at something, and we turn and it's revealed that Kane has been splashed by this carriage. Really great, just seeing this guy kind of have to eat shit for a second.
It's sad that you don't get that so often anymore. Like, you used to see more people get humiliated easily. Like, I wish you got like more people tripping on the street, like getting like a Corvette goes by and a fucking puddle gets splashed up at somebody.
Well, that's what I miss, man. Going outside and watching people get fucking eat shit.
There's not enough mud anymore these days. I think we should drill up the streets.
It's true.
Get that pavement out of here.
It is crazy, though. You realize we're on like what, month 8 of this fucking fiasco.
I've lost all sense of time. I don't know what's going on at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny though, because like Steve, you were saying, like you realize you miss those like day-to-day things, like, you know, whenever we would gather to record the show together, there was always like, I fucking saw this dude on the train. Sure. Yada yada. And to add to that, though, another thing that I realized I had not felt in so long, and it was incredible, was the notion of being made to feel like incredibly socially awkward about what somebody said. Like, we were at a distanced thing with neighborhood people, and this dude just casually mentioned that he loves blowing rails, just doing coke, and like.
Wait, did he say it like that though?
No, it was like it was something, and I was, you know, snorting a lot or whatever, and like he just said it so casually and so comfortably, and I was so uncomfortable in that moment. Like, it was so awkward, and I was like, man, I miss socially awkward situations like this, because I just had to be like, yeah, man, fucking yeah.
No, it's always ask God any in those situations, just to put him on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, but then like I had to fucking, what if there's a follow-up?
Well, then
sure, let's go to the bathroom.
Awesome.
I don't want to do coke. I don't have the heart for that.
Fair.
I'll drop dead.
Fair enough.
Look at me.
So she's got a toothache, which I think is like the 1920s equivalent of like being shot in the stomach. Like,
yes,
that would put you down, dude. A toothache, you're in real fucking trouble.
That's what he's doing outside this pharmacy. He's like, oh, the medicine is, you know, poor people don't get it, but I control for some tail there, dangle some medicine above their face.
Yes. The best place to pick up women is the sickly spaces.
You're gonna be okay. It's just a toothache.
Are you a dentist? They're not invented yet. Are you a dentist?
They're not invented yet.
He's just
sure they were.
He's just hanging out at like the exit of a hospital, looking for all like the women who are in trauma leaving.
He's an ambulance chaser, and he puts a fucking Jimmy hat on instantly.
It is crazy though, because like she doesn't recognize him.
Yeah,
and you know, she says, you know, why don't you go inside? I can put some hot water on your clothes to get the mud off. She's like, if you wanted some hot water, I could get you some hot water. And I'm like, you're just like instantly horny for this older dude who's covered in fucking mud. And let's be realistic here, probably some horse shit.
But also, this proves that his theme song was full of shit, because I'll bet you a 5 you're not alive if you don't know his name.
Yeah, well, this lady's definitely alive.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like many theme songs, dude, a lot of talk, usually full of hot air.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Perfect Strangers lyrics, standing tall on the wings of our dreams.
They never did that.
No.
John Bon Jovi was not wanted dead or alive. They just wanted him alive.
It depends upon where you went.
Sure, fair.
And like he starts to like run some fucking 1920s game on this lady by doing shadow puppets, and I'm like, man, I don't know.
Also, you laughing at me made the your toothache go away a little bit. Why don't you look at me now? I'm wiggling both my ears. The fellow who taught me this in boarding school is now the president of Venezuela.
Oh, right. Weird thing to say, dude.
Okay.
That's just dropping his fucking money right in front of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, the whole like, you really like me still, even if you don't know who I am. Yeah, he keeps doing like the, you sure? I mean, look again. Look at me. Okay, now tell me, you really don't know who I am? Well, this is embarrassing
I'll
for
give
you.
Give you a few hints. Famously reviled.
Oh, you chose Foster Kane. Amazing.
I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Darl's Boster Rain.
She's also got this weird. It's another creep move on his part because she's talking about like how, and he's spending like hours with this woman, and she's talking about how she wanted to be a singer, and her mother was like, absolutely not. And he's like, do you have a piano? Let's go to the parlor so I can hear you sing. And like instantly, she's not a powerful. I mean, she's not awful, but she's not a powerful singer or anything like that. But I just love that, like, let's just go to the parlor in the middle of the night. You can fucking tickle the ivories for me.
Set the spider to the fly.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was so relieved when she's like, I'm 22. I'm like, oh, thank God. I kept expecting it was gonna be like, I'm 14 years old. I'm having a good time.
I just dropped out of intermediate school. Yeah.
Like, it's 22. I was like, that's totally acceptable, Mr. Kane.
But you realize though, like, you know, he is just like totally smitten and blinded by love for this woman.
Yes.
Because he's not immediately like, well, this piano playing isn't great. You know, like he's sitting behind her, so she can't see him or anything. Like, I'd be like, geez, how am I gonna get the fuck out of here?
I mean, it's kind of interesting. I know he wasn't like lower class since he was a boy, but it's interesting that he's gravitating towards this woman who is very much outside of every circle he runs in.
Yes, she is not the niece of a political figure or something.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it speaks to what he's at the youth. Like he's after youth. Like she's very, and they make her very babyish in parts of this movie.
Again,
you know, and it's weird.
Thrilled.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is weird though how that changes. Like, I feel like Susan Alexander is kind of the most inconsistent character in the movie that way. Because I feel like she kind of like turns on a dime to fit like whatever scenario he's got to be fucking angry about. It evens out more as they like settle into their marriage and everything like that. But
she's very like Moll-ish, you know, like that kind of a archetype there. And we do see his campaign here, and he's doing the famous scene with the big fucking. It's just him in front of a big picture of himself.
So good.
Jim W. Geddes.
He is talking up a blue streak about this fucking Jim Geddes, dude.
He's upset. Well, I mean,
Boss
and again,
Geddes, we should call him.
Yeah, Boss Jim Geddes. I mean, the same. Again, like the fucking obnoxious parallels my brain was drawing here, but the whole thing of like, my fucking first day in office, I'm demanding that charges be brought against Jim Geddes. And the only thing you're missing is all of Madison Square Garden yelling, lock him up.
Exactly. And
you know,
Jim Geddes says to, when he confronts the women, is it Emily?
His wife. Yeah,
Emily is the wife.
Right.
Yes.
He says that like he's mad that like his children have to see the Inquirer papers where they draw him in like prison jumpsuit.
Yes.
Very interesting detail there. There's very much lock him up for sure.
I did like all the T-shirts in the rally that said "Flimshaw your feelings."
I also love the giant poster, and it's just like it's kind of like a weird frame of him with the double chin, and it's like they went with that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. We took 27 photographs, and that was the best one.
Exactly.
You got to go up. The angle go up, please. Please, you've got to do me a favor here. Take it again.
Does it like accentuate his sleazeness in that photo? It's kind of, and also the hall is a little bit framed like Triumph of the Will or something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I think all of the stuff of like the garden that you get around the stage is like a painting, and so like because of that, nothing is moving, so it looks very like still, like you see in Triumph of the Will, all the Nazis fucking just like standing very still at attention, watching Hitler fucking flap his gums. But again, man, another line that just, it'll send chills down your spine. I made no campaign promises because until a few weeks ago, I didn't have a chance of winning.
Yeah.
Oh, well, doesn't that sound like someone's plan?
He also is like, oh, you should know every straw poll gives me 100% chance of winning. And then there's like a 1930s Nate Silver somewhere. Well, actually, Mr. Kane, you actually have a 7 in 10 chance of winning, which is very good, but doesn't mean Boss Geddes is totally out of the race, we should say.
Yeah, so now this is it's a 19 whatever teens Steve Kornacki, and I'm here to tell you that if we go back and we look at specifically New York County, so that's Manhattan. Okay,
Let me just zoom in, and by zoom in, I'm gonna open up a different picture here.
I'm gonna
Roll
open
down a
window.
different picture.
I'm gonna open a window and get a fucking eyeglass, a spyglass or something, a
And
fucking telescope out.
This is 5e Fox, which is an actual fox.
He does have. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
No, I was just going to say, I was really waiting for like Charles Foster Kane to do his speech where he's like, Cab Calloway treated me very unfairly.
Oh my God. You want to know who the real moocher is? There is a thing too where he gets back into his fucking man of the people shit here, where he's like, Charles Foster Kane, this will be an administration for the working man and the slum child. I was like, man, slum child.
Listen,
Yikes.
slum child, what else do you have to lose?
Come on, little slum child, can you vote for me or what?
Come on, folks, we know I could have had Louise Brooks. We could have had her.
Well, because that's basically what's fascinating about this whole scenario is this is Trump's first what do you call it, campaign, but the pussy tape actually derails him. You know what I mean? Like it actually works.
Yeah,
it actually does work. Yes,
this is the 1940s electorate actually gives a fuck about moral whatever.
That's fornication, my friend.
So as he is sort of wrapping up this speech, we have the incredible shot of Geddes in the rafters looking down, and the whole rally ends and everybody's going home, and the Emily, Mrs. Kane here at this point, sends the kid home in a car separately because she is going to 185 West 74th Street.
And it was interesting. I was reading about this today because he's like, oh, Emily, why are you sending the boy home? It's like, well, we have to go to 185 West 74th Street. And initially you could hear him shit his pants. But in the editing bay, Wells thought it would be better to play without, because I mean, like, literally you have to be like, why would you want to go? That's a silly place for anyone to go. It's a stupid place. I heard that there's muggers there. They mug you when you get out of the car. We shouldn't go there. I don't want to get mugged.
There is a great Wells bit of acting right there when she says that for the splittest of split seconds, you see his eyes bug out.
Oh, yeah.
And in that, like, quarter of a second, it's like, douche chill.
So they arrive at the place, and a maid opens the door, and she's like, "There's a whore living in this home. There's a whore living in this home."
Dude, it's kind of crazy, dude, because, like, this housekeeper totally fucks it all up right from the jump. Like, because she opens the door and she's like, "Come right in, Mr. Kane." You open this door and you see this dude, like, with another lady. Like, you got to be like, "Can I help you?"
Oh, he's getting into threesomes. Oh no!
Oh, great!
No.
If your wife is like, "Hey, let's just go to this place." Oh, I don't know, 184 74th Street or whatever the fuck it is. On the way there, you have to be. You got to come clean. There's just no. The jig is clearly up. You just got to let it go. But he's just sort of like, I don't know. Maybe everyone will be dead when we get there. Like, I don't know what are you intending to happen here.
You know what it reminded me of was that Seinfeld storyline where George tells Susan's parents that, like, he bought a house in the Hamptons, and they're like, "Cool, you should take us there sometime, like this weekend." And, like, it's like, how far do you ride out that lie? Listen, man, I'm not even getting in the cab.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you said the exact address? Well, let's just go home and discuss what's been going on.
He's just hoping that she's out at the opium den or something. There's nobody home. Or
yes, this is another apartment that I have to do my writing. I'm writing a novel.
I write the entire paper, honey. Don't you know that? Those are different names I use just to keep it fair.
But the most unexpected part is that not only is Susan Alexander home, fucking boss Jim Geddes himself is there. And I didn't notice this because I have not watched this movie in a very long time. Probably since whenever it was I bought the Blu-ray that I have now. So we're talking like maybe like 5 years or something like that, maybe more. So I was saying this to Eric off the air. One of my like comfort things now is like if it's too late to put on another movie and I'm like kind of too lazy to like, this is very supremely lazy, like turn the TV input over and like set up playing a video game or something, I'll just turn on Perry Mason on Amazon, like the old show. This guy who plays Jim Geddes is the actor Ray Collins, who plays like the often put upon homicide detective that Perry Mason is always giving a hard time to.
Right.
And he's so much older on that show that I just like, I didn't put two and two together. He looks great.
He's also in Magnificent Ambersons. He's amazing.
He's great in the scene. And I do love, Eric, your point. I mean, yes, it is very Trumpian lock her up, but it is also hilariously quaint 1930s-ish where he has to be like, I can't believe you had to make my children look at me in convict stripes. And it's just like, it's a little quaint. It's a touch cute. Like,
Absolutely.
Daddy's in convict stripes. I can't believe it.
Well,
he looks like a beagle boy.
And this is where you can see the brilliance of him as a politician. Even in his denouncement of Kane, he props himself up as the family man.
Yes.
Kane doesn't have any children.
Mm-mm.
No, he's got one kid.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's got that son. The thing that's weird is you never get the moment in their life, in his life. And I guess it kind of makes it a little, again, I think, Chris, it's like you said, it's something that's not directly about him, but like, we should say that Emily and the son at some point in the timeline die in a car accident together.
It's just kind of weird to not have in the movie, but it's an interesting choice at the very least.
Well, it's also because the point of the movie is like how much can you know a public figure? Like, if you're not an investigator, like he gets farther because he's an investigator, but like even with that power, how much can you really know a man? And you really can't know that much beyond just like the surface interactions he's had with other people.
And it's also kind of like Rashomon here with the like, okay, I'm hearing Leland's side of the story, and maybe what I'm seeing is not 100% filling out everything.
That's also a big part of the argument with Mankiewicz is the structure, the Rashomon-like structure, I think is more of Welles's idea versus Mankiewicz, and that was a big part of their split, I guess.
Oh, is
that's
that right?
what I read from. I've been like dipping into the Bogdanovich interviews and a few other books.
I mean, the Mank stuff is very interesting. I learned stuff about him today that I hadn't known, like that he was a supervising producer on 3 Marx Brothers movies, 3 really good ones.
Yeah.
Like Horse Feathers, Monkey Business, and he was fired off of Duck Soup.
He also wrote an incredible Robert Siodmak movie called Christmas Holiday with Gene Kelly. It's incredible. You should seek it out right now. It's incredible.
But so that's interesting though. So Mankiewicz, Herman J. Had beef with the structure of this film.
There was just two, because the way it happened, from what the interview said, is they both wrote scripts, their own full script, and Mankiewicz
of Citizen
Kane, and Mankiewicz sent his to Orson Welles, and he used what he wanted.
And he just diced up the structure and made it his own thing.
And apparently Mank knew, William Randolph Hearst pretty well. They used to go to all these parties, and at these parties they used to call him the Voltaire of Central Park West. And so he was ingrained in this social scene that he betrays by making this movie.
That's very interesting.
Which I assume will be a huge part of Mank.
Well, apparently he was kicked out of a party from Hearst, and like there was a falling out before the movie was made. So this movie might have been like a vengeance kind of a thing.
That makes total sense.
Weird.
That's what I would do.
Absolutely. So yeah, like whatever. Like what you would call it. Geddes plays his card, and it's so fucking great how he handles this. Like Kane still thinks he can win here because he basically is like, listen, if you don't drop out of the race tonight, and like he even says like you got to leave town too. It's like a fucking Old West thing. You got to get the fuck.
Yep.
You got to
get the fuck out of here, dude.
Exactly. Get the shit out of here. And if you don't do that, it'll be on every paper that's not yours tomorrow. And he's like, well, I don't care. That's great. I love it. That's awesome. Hey, cool. No, I wanted this to be revealed. I was going to tell you tonight. I can't believe this is. You're doing me a favor, Geddes.
I'm actually laughing right now.
This is like Trump and Cuomo, and the fact that like both Kane and Trump fuck off to Florida.
They do. Yeah, no, this is great. This is awesome. Hey. Great. Totally excellent.
Him fucking screaming after Geddes down the, like, because Geddes is like, all right, I bet you don't. I bet you fucking care way more than you're playing it off right now. So, all right, I'm gonna publish that story. Have a good night, fuckface. And he walks out, and he's like, "Do you know who I am? I'm Charles Foster Kane." And he's yelling after him down the stairs and everything. And, you know, as soon as I'm in office, Geddes, I'm putting you in jail. And he just goes, "Sing, sing, Geddes, sing, sing."
I'm gonna send you to Sing Sing.
That's
Dude,
amazing.
It's fucking great. And like, I don't know, Kane. You're fucking screaming in this like boarding house or apartment building or whatever. Like,
not great.
maybe you button it up about jailing your political opponents.
Mr. Kane, you cannot buy Sing Sing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who told you could. They are ill-informed. You can't buy it.
But where will I put 2 of every animal that I have?
It sounds like an ark is what you're looking for, sir. And this is a prison, and we don't sell it.
First of all, there was Animal Farm, and now there's going to be Animal Prison.
No, sir, they're very different things. When you know what? Never mind. Here, give me money, and you can have the prison.
Also, pro tip, if you're going to an apartment and making this huge charade to ruin a man's life, you need another dude there with you because shit can go south real quick. Luckily for Geddes, it doesn't. But he even's like, "Oh, I know I made a campaign promise to lock you up, Geddes, but I'm going to break your neck tonight," or whatever he says, which is an awesome line. But again, like, it's a big dude, man. You want another guy there just in case.
Exactly.
You don't know what Kane is packing here.
Get your boys together, roll up a crew.
Exactly.
Well, it's also crazy
dude.
because like you can't imagine nowadays that like the governor of a state could just go somewhere in the middle of the night.
His crew would be a Leland the drama critic and Bernstein the banker. Like what?
No.
I'm talking about Geddes because Geddes is springing the trap. You need some backup, dude.
I guess, but like you don't see any toughs in the Kane like arsenal, do you?
No, but he's a big
but like
dude.
this is what Steve is saying: is this dude Orson Welles, big tall fucking Orson Welles, is screaming and threatening this fucking tiny ass Ray, whatever the actor's name was, like. I would fucking roll up with some pipe hitting motherfuckers, man. Like, you know how big this guy is.
Especially if Geddes is the kind of like corrupt boss politician that Kane is alluding to. You would assume he's got a few guys with some sticks.
Some goons. Get some hired goons.
Show me like an oaf that's at least waiting out in the car or something.
That. Oh, yeah. Fucking something. Car oaf. I love it. By the way, okay, here it is. Poster, car oaf.
Oh shit!
I wish Cannon was still around because Car Oaf would be big.
I don't know. That could be our little project. Is Car Oaf?
I like it, like this big fucking pipe hitting motherfucker that's also a wheelman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Drive meets Toxic Avenger.
I thought when you said that, I was like Car Oaf. I thought it was like a reality series like Top Gear, except for people who know nothing about cars.
Or it could be a cash cab situation. Ooh, you're in here with the Car Oaf.
They have that already, Chris. It's called Jay Leno's Garage.
Oh, that's still on.
They also have Steve's version of Car Oaf. It's called fucking Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow, dude. How about that? Wait. Let me get the song back out. There is a man, a certain late night host. And for the poor, you may be sure he doesn't do anything. He shows Nancy Pelosi's fridge.
What?
Anyway,
he is a cat.
Yeah, we're having so much fun, aren't we? Oh yeah, we're having so much fun. Yeah, let's keep on singing, Mr. Kane. Let's just keep on singing in this carpool.
So, Mr. Kane, you get a lot of bad press, but you're a lot of fun.
Oh man,
let me tousle your bald head of hair.
No, that was Fallon.
I know. It's just amalgamation. We are Legion. It's all the capitalist class.
So of course the Chronicle prints gubernatorial candidate found in love nest.
Oh, dude,
there's the article.
The editor-in-chief of the Chronicle was jerking off when it went to press. He was just so
Absolutely.
thrilled. He's like, "Oh, it's awesome."
I've been working for fucking years with this fucking B team that I was left with because that son of a bitch bought off my A team reporters. Here it comes, the fucking death blow on this guy's campaign.
It's also amazing that it's pretty rude that they keep calling Miss Alexander, a singer in quotes. It's like, you know what, dude, just take the quotes out. It's nicer not to do that.
Well,
It's kind of great.
I love the fact that that's what gets under his skin so much. He's like, and then I think Leland or someone said like he worked so hard to get the quotes removed, basically by making her a legitimate singer.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
oh, hello, I haven't met you yet. Are you Mrs. Singer? No, actually, my name is Susan Davies.
So
It's Marla Singer, and you met me at a very interesting time in my life.
But then you see Kane's claim. It's kind of great. You get the newspaper folks back at the Inquirer, and it's like it holds up a thing like Kane wins in a landslide or whatever it is, and they're like, well, guess we have to go with the other one, and it's fucking fraud at polls. Douche chill and a half, man. Just fucking right down my spine.
yep, it's because, and you know, I will never concede. Actually, awesome.
Yes, and that lady who has to tell the incoming person there that give it a go. Well, she's in my pocket too, so she's gonna fucking sit on her thumbs and not do anything for weeks too. Yes, yeah. When are you gonna ascertain the election results, you fucking crooked government employee?
Yeah, we're still at November 18th, and we're still not entirely sure if we're allowed to have another president.
Well, she hasn't ascertained it. We didn't fucking ascertain it yet with this lady. She can't fucking ascertain it. She doesn't know her ascertain from a hole in the ground.
we're just not sure. We you know, we're gonna wait and see. We're just gonna wait and see.
But during this whole thing of him losing this election, I love the title being Citizen Kane. Like that's despite his riches, despite his advantages, all he'll ever attain is just being a regular citizen. Certainly
so
better
great.
than the original title American.
Oh, really? That was
Yeah.
I thought it was war. What is it good for?
Absolutely not.
you gotta write out.
Wait,
You gotta write out the.
Yes.
original title American Kane, or just the movie was called American?
American.
Yeah.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Dumb as
I
fuck.
finished my first draft of the screenplay. It's called Thirsty Hursty.
I don't know that first.
Now that I'll accept.
That first movie you mentioned, Mike Johnson's Too Big, is a pretty funny title too.
Oh, too much Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I do love the next movement of the next movement of the movie, because it does. I mean, this is an incredibly political movie, but it is really more about power and about about legacy and all this stuff, and like
Yeah.
the ends he goes through to make this poor woman an opera singer, which she does not want to be, is just like, it's such an interesting little episode for the film, because
It's like a really twisted version of the Florence Foster Jenkins story.
yes,
Because it's like they're not humoring her. She pretty much knows that she's no good. Like, it's him humoring himself. So it's like if Florence Foster Jenkins' husband was the dude that was like bankrolling all of it for himself.
it's as if
In a way.
my wife was incredibly rich and powerful and owned the New York Knicks, and she's like, Steve, you always wanted to be on the Knicks. Now you're on the Knicks, and I played 20 minutes a game, and I got fucking railroaded every night.
No, not only that, they would build Madison Square Garden for you to play the Knicks in.
And everyone's like booing me, and I'm like, I got 0 points, like 0 points, 0 assists, 10 steals against me, and everyone's like, that fucking guy is ruining the team. And there's all sorts of blog posts and shit, but I got to do it every night because that's how it is.
It is truly exquisite, though. It's another great bit of editing where they're like, I don't know if he's giving an interview or if he's speaking with Susan Alexander or whatever it is, or maybe to Leland. Kane is talking with someone in the scene, and they're like, well, you know, what happens if, you know, you can't get her, you know, into Carnegie Hall or, you know, wherever? And he's like, you know, they say, like, will you build her an opera house? And he's like, oh, gentlemen, oh, that won't be necessary. Smash cut to the headline, Kane builds opera house. Like, God damn it, man. I love editing jokes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so
Where a
good.
cut can make a punchline. It's so awesome.
I want to briefly mention that the whole like defeat scene where he's in his office. Where
Yes,
all
you're
the-
right.
him and
We can't
Leland,
skip that.
yes.
Yeah, with all the fucking all the ticker tape shit they thought they had to shoe in. This is where the whole under the floorboard shot is.
Mhm.
It's so
Yes.
incredible. I mean, it is still striking to look at because you just don't
Yes.
see it even often now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and at the time, it
Yeah.
was just like,
And this is
I mean, it's also you're seeing too, like they built ceilings for these sets,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
incredible.
the amount of money they had for like in the studio production is pretty amazing. They don't go outside that much, but the way they utilize the interiors, pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And there's also the great line too. This is where Leland says to him, "You talk about the people as if they belong to you."
Yep.
yes.
And this is that you realize, because we're back in the newspaper office too, where all of these related conversations have happened, and you're like, oh, okay, it's completely gone. Like, this dude is fucking lost.
And this is when he reveals
forever.
the threat of unions and the fact that they might not
Yes.
need him
Yep.
anymore and all this stuff. And like, because he's like, yeah, you think you're a great friend of the working man, but you give them only what they can have. Like our friend Mr. Bezos over there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's whatever trickle down you get. And oh wow, I donated $50 million this week. Big fucking whoop! I gave a fucking homeless guy $1. Same difference.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Susie thing is a perfect encapsulation of like you can will, if you have this much money, you can will popularity
Exactly.
and you can will everything, but you cannot will love. They're not
Yep.
going to
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yep. And this is also Leland is like, hey, and by the way, dude, like, this whole thing kind of sucks, and I don't want to be around for the aftermath. So can I go be the drama critic at the Chicago paper? And he relents, and he's like,
What a powerful stance from Leland, by the way. It's like, yeah, you can, you fucking snake, you lying sack of shit. You can continue paying me in Chicago. Congratulations.
Oh, you can go drown with those Polacks.
And I love the line because like he's like, yes, whenever you feel you need to get there, you can go. And he's like, well, will Saturday after next be okay? Like, he's clearly, planned this whole thing out, which I just love. But yeah, so he has built this opera house. We are in Chicago now. Just the expense incurred just for her to be terrible. It's amazing.
Do you think the Koch brothers did this at all? Because didn't they donate one of the new Metropolitan Opera? Maybe not
Yeah,
the
there's
Opera
there's
House, but another
There's
theater.
there's a Coke theater there.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, we love the Cokes now because that guy was like, oops, I'm sorry I broke the world. So
Oh,
that's cool.
Oh, wait, did he
Whoopsie-doopsies.
apologize?
Yeah, he did a whoopsie
apologized?
doopsies. Yeah.
Mhm.
He
He's like, I'm so
apologized?
sorry. I'm so
Oh.
sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's cool.
Oh, and you know what, sir? I'm so sorry for continuing to wish you were dead 10 years ago.
Exactly. I mean, anyway,
Is the other one dead?
I think the other
Yeah,
one
the other
is
one's
dead.
dead.
Right?
one of them
It's the one that
died,
survived.
and the
Yes.
quickening went into the other one, the direct sibling or
Ooh.
whatever.
Stubbed my toe and broke the world. Sorry, everybody.
I'm sorry I ruined the country. My bad, though. I'm going to donate $1 million to blind people or something.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Thank you so much, though. Thank you.
These fucking people. Don't get me
Ah.
started.
Man.
It all kind of culminates on her debut,
Oh,
which is horrific. You get some hilarious opera. Truly grueling to look at opera scenes where she has to sing. This
Yes.
guy is telling her she's pure shit.
I love this guy. You could just tell from his face. It's like you're not even really hearing him. He's like, no, sing like this. And he's like, oh my fucking God, will you stop sucking?
dude, it's kind of great because it's like what these like fucking all these people that have surrounded themselves with this orange idiot for the last 4 years haven't really realized, because this opera guy is like, fuck, dude, like coaching this woman and she's gonna go make this performance. I am going to be humiliated in my own circle. I'm never going to have another job
Yep.
again. Like all these fucking lawyers.
Yeah.
All these non-Giuliani lawyers that are like running out there to do all this shit. And then you see all these like law firms being like, actually, ooh, maybe it's bad for business. These fucking turds, dude. At least this opera guy is like, man, she sucks. I can't do anything about it, and my career is going to be ruined due to my association with this. And instead of like being able to get out, Kane is like, nope, I fucking own you too,
Top
buddy.
5 shots in this whole movie is the up when you see the guys in the rafters.
Oh my god!
And the guy just turns
dude.
and like the PU knows.
Yes.
That is so good.
It's devastating that PU knows. It is so good.
But then he just uses like his media empire to blitz everything. She goes on tour, and it's like every headline of every Inquirer across the country is like, and this is what's funny about it. It's fucking headline front page news about the fucking opera coming to town.
It is amazing though. Like, I mean, look, if you've got like, if you want to fake a talent, fake acting, that at least you could do. Sort of like opera is so specifically like an athletic endeavor that most human beings can't even like.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is singing in a foreign language.
I mean,
exactly.
That's my wife pointed out. She's like, she actually can hit some notes that are pretty hard to hit. It's the pronunciation is awful.
It's just it's not something that anyone could do. Like acting, sure, or even like rock music, sure, you can just pretend you're singing, but like it's very difficult to fake opera.
I don't think you'll be doing rock music.
After that opening night is when Kane drops by the Chicago office, and he has not spoken to Leland in many years. And he drops in, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Leland's in the back. We're ready to go to print with the big debut from your wife's show, but one thing missing is the review, as Leland is still writing it." And he goes in, and Leland's fucking passed out. Man, sleeping face first on a typewriter. My God, that is a drunk that I have never been in.
It smells like a recycling center in his little office there. So we might not get it tonight.
This is kind of like how everyone nowadays is getting, super drunk and passing out in front of a computer screen. I mean, kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I guess, probably a little easier to pass out in front of a computer than a typewriter, though, man.
Well, a computer's got more going on. I'll give it that.
But so Kane, he's having...
Hold on. So you've got the review here. Let me peel this one piece of paper back. A paper called Pornhub. What?
He's got some tabs open here.
Exactly.
Oh, look at the Pornhub Tribune. Look at that.
What are all these papers? They all say tweet on it.
This page just describes a woman's negligee and her ankle. Oh my.
Oh my goodness! A stepbrother and a stepdaughter are sitting next to each other on a bus. Scandalous stuff.
He's making Bernstein read this review, and Bernstein's like, yeah, this is really uncomfortable because it's a really bad review.
She sucks shit. Okay, boss. It says she sucks shit and is bad and is amateurish.
It's kind of embarrassing too, because he's reading it and he's like, a new low, and then he stops and he's like, yeah, that's all he wrote. And then Kane grabs the paper out of the typewriter and reads the rest of what he's written. And then, man, this dude just fucking finishing this guy's bad review of his wife's fucking singing ability. It's something.
And her cooking is terrible, and she never closes the cabinets.
Exactly.
She's always hounding her great husband to come to bed when he's not tired.
It is great. And I mean, it's this weird, it's similar to him in Getty's, right? Like, he can't lose. So it's oh, you're going to write a bad review? I'm going to write a fucking terrible review. That shows me that you're a piece of shit. And it's and then, his wife is, of course, devastated. Well, then next, obviously, he fires him, which is a huge deal.
That's a fucking great line, too, because he's, Leland is well, Charles, I didn't think we were talking, and he just goes, sure we are, Jedediah. You're fired. Fucking great delivery from Orson Welles on that line, I have to say. Pretty rad.
We do a cut back to one of those interviews where he's old, and I don't remember the entire scene, but I wrote down that when Leland was describing Xanadu, he was like, what was that place he was writing from? What was that place? Shangri-La, El Dorado, Sloppy Joe's.
Yes, Sloppy Joe's, dude. Got a big laugh in this house.
So good.
It is great because he does that whole thing. It's Xanadu. I knew the whole time. I knew the whole time. I'm not senile, I promise.
Well, no, what he's saying though, he's like, he says, he says to him, that I knew the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not. It's not that he's senile.
Yes.
It's that he's like
Yeah, he's being a dick.
disrespecting of the whole. And he's like, you know that I'm full of shit. Damn it. But this is also where those nurses come up, and he's like, one is enough. Which is great. This young doctor has the idea he wants to keep me alive.
By the way,
yeah.
Sloppy Joe Castle in Florida. Maybe I'm packing my bags.
I like this.
Come on down to Sloppy Joe's Castle.
Jesus.
You're going to want to swim in this moat.
No indoor plumbing at Swampy Joe's Castle. Outhouses as far as the eye can see.
Guy just jumps in with a bun into the Sloppy Joe moat. He's like, the buns do nothing.
Dude, that sounds like a double dare activity that I would love to participate in.
up with a man witch.
It's been quite a while
Yeah.
since I've had a Sloppy Joe.
Oh, we throw it into the dinner rotation every now and again.
Yeah.
It's usually
It's good.
usually with we'll do like either maybe like a lean meat, like a
Turkey meat?
pork or something, or it's we'll do like protein crumbles and stuff.
Yeah, like Beyond Meat's good. It's rare, but that gets you right back to childhood right there. I like it with corn.
Really?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Never had it
interesting.
corn.
A little sweetness to
We
it.
do a little we'll cook up some mushrooms in there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Them
They
in
just
there,
legalized that. Oregon.
So we go back to the AC here. It's the El Rancho Lounge, is where Susan Alexander has been propping herself up for these remaining
Is
years.
there a cat house or a bar in the Nevada desert called this? Because there should be.
The El Rancho
Yeah,
Lounge?
I feel like there should be. I mean, I feel
I'm sure there's probably a lot of El Rancho lounges around the country.
I would like that. I would like to see that.
I would rather be able to go down to AC, see some washed up opera stars trying to sing than instead of seeing fucking Joe Piscopo. He's got a comedy club down there, I believe.
Is it still in business? That's the question.
I gotta Google it because I can tell you, watch it. We don't know anyone that's ever performed there.
Well, no, certainly
It's
not.
probably just a vanity project for him.
Yeah, we don't associate with those comedians, dude.
I feel like every SNL member should have had a failed nightclub. There should be a Catan's,
Dude, Catan.
like a Farrell's. There should be. I think like all the big names should have had one. I feel
Well, Lovett's had
Lovett's
one.
had one. Dangerfield was never on SNL, so that doesn't count.
Mhm.
No.
That was a terrible club, though.
What about a Hutzel's for Melanie Hutzel for sure?
Oh
Should
yeah.
have her,
Yeah, I like that.
mhm.
I'm not,
Hutzel's.
guys. I'm not finding his comedy club, but I see that he got divorced in 2006.
Burned down 20 years ago. It's a ghost
The
comedy
marriage
club,
of the
dude.
comedy
hold
club.
up, hold up. JoePiscopo.org loading up right now.
I mean,
.org. Get the hell out
Jane
of
Curtin,
here.
curtains. Come
Oh,
on,
curtains.
that's perfect.
Oh, it's curtains for you,
Oh.
man. I love it.
That's pretty
What
great.
the fuck is, dude, man? You're playing private parties in the Hamptons back in September. What are you doing?
Of course. Well,
Dude,
he
he's-
doesn't believe in
well,
the vid. He doesn't believe in the vid.
He probably doesn't, but even if he did, though, a Joe Piscopo stand-up special out in the Hamptons talk about definitely not a super spreader.
Well,
event.
I kind of want it to be like a big troll for him. Call it the Super Spreader Tour.
My friend
man.
Joe Piscopo is on Cameo as an FYI.
Oh, fuck.
You better up your trailer games, gentlemen.
I gotta fucking win now.
Steve, obviously, we're 2 and almost a half hours into this episode, so there's no VHS trailer game this week. What is the situation, though, dude, for this We Love Movies month?
I can tell you that there will be 3
Okay.
oh,
good.
yeah. Now I'm
spread
talking.
across main apps and Patreon. FYI.
Love it. Fucking love it.
Oh,
God damn
boy.
it.
God damn it. It's gonna test my metal.
So she's wasted, and this is where she's like, I never wanted the opera house. He fucking made me do the singing lessons and whatnot.
Great companion to this movie is Velvet Goldmine, which steals the structure almost exactly.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
the Toni Collette pieces are exactly this kind of a thing.
I've never seen
I will
that.
steal it. It's my wife's favorite movie, and she brought it up. It's to her credit, but it is really interesting to watch that movie as a Citizen Kane companion kind of.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
a
It's
good movie.
definitely influenced. I haven't seen that in a long time.
So this is when Susan tells her side of the story with the opera stuff, and this is where you get this totally great shot of her as the curtains are coming up, the camera is just sort of left in the like really like in the back of the stage, like almost at the wall of the theater. You see this great curtain come up and the lights. It's so fucking awesome. But then you just get more of this horrendous fucking singing.
And a lesser movie would make her a joke. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to make this character the punchline. Oh, this dim-witted whatever can't sing. It's like you see how excruciating it is for this person. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So she totally fucking sucks. And at this time around, this is where you get like the great shit of like Bernstein falls asleep during the production. Leland doing the great tearing up his program, which Homer Simpson does later on.
Yes.
In The Simpsons, which is so awesome. Again, just like seeing, I mean, like the amount, and not just like this, the Homer one, like I just mentioned, like, so they're not all Mr. Burns centric, but my God, the Citizen Kane references on The Simpsons.
Right. Like Mr. Burns obviously having the same upbringing of being taken from his real parents.
Let's roll.
Yeah, let's roll.
Sorry, but also I rewatched Magnificent Ambersons as well, and
Nice.
I believe it's Joseph Cotton when he was a young boy. George in that movie is a fucking terror, and he's got like whipping townspeople from his carriage stop, saying, "Yeah, you know who my dad is," and he's dressed with the kind of like a fancy boy. He's got like a kind of like a kilt-ish thing, and he's got the long curly hair, reminding me of Monty Burns versus, I guess, groundskeeper Willie's father. I don't remember.
Wait.
Oh no, it's the Irish,
Yes.
the Irish guy running the bumper cars, and that's when he's fucking the great gag of him laughing for like 4 days.
Yes.
Oh, what was I laughing about? Oh, that crippled Irishman.
I was just thinking of Mr. Burns as debate and like atoms. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. I love it. I mean, it just, it's everywhere, the fucking influence, which is, I mean, also I'm sure they haven't made a Citizen Kane reference on that show in 20 years. I'm positive it's all fucking, whatever.
But to his credit, now that shot of Wells like clapping like that is one of the biggest memes. GIFs, I guess.
Well, I mean,
that was
the acting in that scene. When you watch it, like for real, like the whole scene, you see everything he's thinking, which is like, this is fucking terrible. This is fucking terrible. Nobody's like, why aren't people loving it? You know what I mean? Like he's fighting himself so hard, and he doesn't say a word. It's amazing.
Well, because the other incredible move there too is that when the performance blissfully finishes, he's the only one not clapping at first, and it's kind of like, well, of course they'll clap. And then I love that that's why he's motivated to start clapping only after everyone else stops. And it's like, keep the party going.
And he does a standing ovation, which nobody else is gonna do. That's for sure.
Dude, and they're just like, his like nothing clapping in this huge cavernous opera house while they are just like almost in virtual silence bringing all of those flowers up to the front row for her, putting them on the stage. Man, is it humiliating. And so she's fucking furious about this review, obviously. The next morning, like, she's sitting in a pile of newspapers. They're reading all the reviews and everything. And she's fucking furious that Leland wrote this thing. And, there's this great moment where, Kane says, admits to, well, I sent him a check for $25,000 after I fired him. And it's like, telegram for you, Mr. Kane. And it's an envelope from Leland, and he's returned the check. He's returned the check shredded. And then here in it is the declaration of principles that he held on to decades later just to throw it in this dude's face.
If I was
I
was Leland, I would try to copy the check and send him back a shredded copy.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Just, you got to give a little bit here. You got to think a little bit.
I would cash it, and then I would take $50 and tear it up and put it in that thing. Like, yeah, man, you can keep your $50. I'll keep the rest.
Oh, I'm destroyed.
And it's wild, like he refuses to concede that his wife is terrible at singing opera. And so he just it's this incredibly terrifying moment where he walks up close to her in this room and they cover her entirely in his shadow. She's completely blacked out, and he just goes, you will continue with your singing, you know, and she's saying, like, I don't even want to fucking do this. But, like, he refuses to have a failure on his hands, be associated with a failure, and so she ODs on sleeping solution instead.
This is one great Susan Alexander moment during this whole thing of where she does like an impression of him, and she's like, I'm Charles Foster Kane, and I can give you anything you want, but you got to love me.
Oh, yeah.
You got to love me. You got to do it. You got to love me.
It is so disgusting.
Do you love me or just love me?
He, you know, the suicide attempt is a wake-up call for him a little bit, you know, and he's like, okay, you don't have to continue singing. He says it's their loss, you know, so it's not a loss in the family Kane department.
And I will not utter the words I'm sorry, not even here on your suicide bed. Sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
And I don't know if it was before or after the suicide, but like you get to see how fucking weird it is to live with this guy. He's like, oh, I thought maybe we'd go for a picnic. Cut to a 15-car caravan to go on this picnic.
Yes, and so that's like we get into sort of like the final thrust of the movie here. Them, like, as they're older, you know, she just spends years being miserable living in Xanadu. Obviously, she's a very social person, you know, and so she's forced to stay inside this fucking castle compound doing jigsaw puzzles for years on end. And this picnic offering is one of his, like, we're doing a thing you sort of like to do, right? And it's this insane, like, 15 cars driving up the beach to settle down, you know, whatever fucking Florida beach this is.
I kind of want a little more of the hangers-on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to tell Orson Welles how to fucking cook the steak, but I mean, like, I just want to see how scummy it gets.
Who are these people?
Hey,
you know, like, I do want to know.
Hey, Charlie, you're a little low on gin, just an FYI. I've been sleeping on your couch for 14 months.
Yes, I would like you to meet my good friend Prescott Bush. And his little boy George.
Howdy. Hey, Charlie, I have to say, good buddy, I was gonna do a quick couple of rounds at the old tennis courts, and I noticed there's a dead girl in the pool again.
Have any methamphetamines, old man? No? Okay, well, I'll just have to go to the grocery store. Talk to you soon.
Mr. Kane.
Sorry, Charlie, gotta go out, get some poppers, ran out.
Mr. Kane, can I keep her skull and bones for my sorority?
Yeah, sure.
Or wait, fraternity? That was not meant to dig. That was just me not knowing Greek life.
But I mean, there is a line though, because she says something about, like, it's before the picnic idea where she's like, hey, you know, why don't we have some people over? It'd be fun, just entertain in this house and whatnot. And he's like, well, as a matter of fact, didn't we just host 50 of your closest friends last week? And some of them are still sleeping around somewhere in that. Like, he's like, it's totally plausible that there are people living in this man's house that he has no idea
Hey,
about.
man, what's the egg situation right now, man?
Oh, great, Susan, you invited your tweaker friends.
Oh, hey, man, I meant no disrespect, Great Gatsby.
Do you see me staring at a green light, son? Get the
And
fuck
then
out
we
of here.
brought back Cicely into the pit.
No, he said there's green. We have Follow the Light, man. He's got marijuana factory.
Hey, man, just a quick question. Were you hanging out with Hitler earlier? Because that might be a deal breaker for me.
But man, I got a bet, man. Does he have one ball or what?
Hitler said, oh, hey, man, how's it going? I got into it last night. Sleeping on your couch.
Yeah, oh, you know, I have to say, Charlie, I had some horrendous diarrhea last night. I think one of your wife's kooky friends put some meat in my sauce.
Still better than the bunker, though.
Oh, fuck, dude. Do you think he survived World War II and just moved to Xanadu?
Possibly.
That's right. We constructed they constructed a fucking tunnel from Berlin to Xanadu.
If anybody was going to do it, Kane was going to do it.
Exactly. Kane could do it.
No, I keep telling you, Charlie, I do not need this tunnel built for our friendship. It's fine.
Oh, Charlie, did you make new coffee? I need it in the morning. This is leftover from last night.
Hitler would be a terrible house guest, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, is this bread yours? Oh, I've got to have a little bit. Oh, haven't eaten breakfast. Oh,
Mhm. Okay, very demanding.
Honey, do you have any idea when Hitler is going to leave our house? I mean, this is the worst thing he's ever done, honestly.
Hey, Dolphy, when you thinking about taking off, bub?
Hitler's got a fucking RV out back. He's dumping sewage into the fucking side. It's the Scheisse fool.
Oh, I'd like to take you out in the desert and leave you for dead. So the whole thing is with this massively orchestrated beach picnic, they get into a real fucking hubbub argument, and he hits her.
Yes.
And that's the fucking end of that.
I was fucking shocked. A, that there wasn't more slapping women, because that's what we did in the 1940s, especially in movies. And B, that it's treated like a real thing that ends a relationship. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It was shockingly treated as the final straw, you know.
Because again, that's Clark Gable just doing it in the first act, you know, just to get a laugh out of the back row,
just to wake her up a bit.
Exactly. It's just and it's impressive that this is that's part of, like, again, like, abuse is a real interesting piece of this movie, at least from you're talking about his abuse as a child, that's a reason that he is sent away, and B, that his abuse to her is a reason that she is sent away. Again, it's a little uncharacteristic of the time in a great way. Honestly.
It would be hilarious is after he hits her, he's like, all right, I guess I have to sell you. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
like just like the parents.
Well, they get in. I guess I got to sell you to a bank.
Mr.
now.
Thatcher, do you have any contacts in the woman slave trade?
Oh, no, I defaulted on my wife. She'll be staying at JP Morgan's house.
There is a great, they have this huge argument. She's packing her bags and whatnot. They're back at the Xanadu. And he says, you can't do this to, because it's first like, okay, I'm going to stop being an asshole. We'll live however you want to live. I'm going to start living the way, doing the things you want to do, not what I think you should do. And she's like not having it. And he says, and then it changes on a dime and he gets very angry and is like, you can't do this to me. And she has a fucking killer line right here. I can't do this to you. Oh, yes, I can. And just fucking sachets right out of Xanadu.
It's a great sachet, dude.
Fucking awesome, man. So
and
awesome.
He busts up the room and
oh man, this fucking room.
And the staff is just like, ugh, and Hitler is just like, I left my phone in there. Can I get I left my phone in there.
Yeah, you know what, Dolphy? You're just going to have to get another one. You better go home to Berlin. This is getting very uncool.
Oh no, she had the best bed. I was going to take that bed.
I have to say, the fucking silk sheets that he tears off there,
looking nice.
Look
okay,
nice.
Charlie, now that she's unspoken for you, just wondering if Dolphy could give her a call.
Also, have you seen my lederhosen?
Sing, Hitler! I'll send you to sing.
Maybe I call my friend Walt Disney. Maybe he come over and we have a little fun.
Oh, just you wait. In a few years, Sing Sing will be killing the people I've been killing.
So she leaves. The room freak out happens. The whole staff is like, man, it sucks working here. And we go back to Mr. Thompson there, and he's back. We get to Xanadu finally, again, back where we started in a way. And he's talking to this butler, and this dude is like, yeah, oh, Rosebud. Oh, yeah, I know all about Rosebud. For $1,000, I'll tell you about
this guy
Rosebud.
Rules. He's like, yeah, I've been in charge for 11 years. I don't give a fuck.
Yep. I've been waiting for this day my whole life. I've jerked off 16 times since he died.
I am just going to be cashing in for the rest of my life. I've stolen so much shit. You have no idea. I have like fucking 4 parrots in my bag, dude. It's awesome.
Remember, this came out like 79 years ago, and we're still not willing to tax the rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
Oh, and by the way, before anyone, and I don't know, this is kind of just maybe my cross to bear, but before anyone cries about Chris Hardwick's fate, He married into the Hearst family.
He did?
Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, he did. That was his like newest youngest bride, which was this. She's like 23 years old in a hearse, and I'm like, dude, you fucking scumbag.
Dude, that guy fucking stinks.
I'd like to see him in a hearse.
Oh, excellent.
Joke, satire, and parody. Sure. And if you are upset by that, shoot yourself out of a cannon.
No, you guys didn't hear me. A hearse. It made sense.
Oh, I guess he's already in one. Hey, Paul, can I get some Hearst music?
He's fucking a hearse. He's fucking a hearse. Da, 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 da. Back to you, Dave.
So and the number one streaming service Chris Hardwick will not be on.
Speaking of William Randolph Hearst, The Talking Dead.
Boom, 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 bam, boom, boom, bam, boom, 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 bam, Hearst chat, boom, boom, bam. See, because sometimes on Letterman they'd funk it up a little bit for those theme songs. So I wanted to shake up the bit a little.
Hell yeah, dude.
There is a crazy thing. So I realized, and it's through no fault of our own, this movie jumps all over the place. He gets to the butler before the freak out in the bedroom.
Right. It's the butler. That's the butler story kind of a thing.
Yes, but it's fucking crazy though, because it is the most terrifying moment in this movie where the guy is like, because Thompson says, "Oh, did you ever hear him say Rosebud?" And he's like, "Yeah, he said it a bunch of times, like the time his wife left him." Before this man has left him out of his mouth, there's this smash cut to this parrot screaming.
Yes, it's cool.
And because they're doing like the rear projection on, to have like the view of Xanadu or whatever, the special effect is kind of fucked up and you can see through the bird's eyeball. It is terrifying
and trippy as hell.
It's a very loud like parrot noise too. Mm-hmm. It really sets it up.
It just it really reminds me, man, like owning birds as pets. Get right out of town.
I mean, some people enjoy it. I can't imagine it.
I
just with the squawking and
I had birds as a kid and it was totally fine. And if you have birds now, you're good. Were
they making noise like the whole time though?
Sometimes, not the whole time. I mean, does your dog bark nonstop?
Yeah, I don't know, man, but like just birds freak me the fuck out.
You put a towel over their cage at night.
That's it.
Oh,
they
try that with cabins.
Then.
We should say he busts up the room. He stopped by busting up the room by finding a snow globe. He makes it snow and he says Rosebud. And the butler's like, yeah, give me $1,000, which he should get. And the guy's like, oh, not for that story. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You don't know what Rosebud means. That's a perfectly plausible explanation. Shut up.
But it's a bit on the butler here, though, dude, because you got to get that cold, hard cash before you start flapping your gums.
For sure.
But this butler had some line of like, oh, he said a bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah. There is a great moment in the flip out, though, that I wanted to highlight where he goes after this bookshelf and he's fucking tearing all these books off the bookshelf. And he gets to like the back of a book or something. And there's a fucking hidden bottle of booze back there. And he looks at it and he's like, I like to think that he's so disgusted because it's like cheap, like grandpappy nothing liquor or something. And he's so disgusted. He throws this bottle of whiskey across the room. Awesome. Awesome moment, dude. But yeah, so that is not the Rosebud you're looking for, unfortunately.
Around here you get all the like the shots of all the storage of Xanadu, and it looks
we're wrapping things up.
Yeah, it looks like the fucking Ark of the Covenant is going in there.
Yep, absolutely, dude. I think the Ark was fucking in there somewhere.
It's definitely part of what they're talking about. Like this is, and again, like what you're looking at is all this wealth that never even mattered to this guy, and all of this money that could have gone somewhere else,
right?
And all this
take
useless
it with
beauty.
You.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like this dude fucking checked out, and like it's all for nothing.
Look at you, Bezos. Look at you.
Yep.
Anytime now, dude.
It's incredible that like they do this overhead shot over all of the stuff he owns, and it does look like a world in itself. Like even like a cityscape from a bird's eye view, and then like in the middle of it is this Rosebud.
Yeah, they have the they're going through like some of the collection, and it's actually, man, it's so, I never noticed any of this before, but you know, things that, this is where I noticed the fucking hilarious welcome back trophy that was kept. He has the stove that was in his mother's house, like he has purchased that or procured that, and that's in his collection. And then he's kept all of the jigsaw puzzles that Susan Alexander did, you know. But man, I never noticed any of those things, but it really got me, the stove.
Yeah.
Like, what a sad fucker, man. Like, it's not just, I mean, the sled was like his last thought or whatever, but like clearly this shit has haunted him all his years, you know, not just like those last moments.
Never sell your kid to the bank is the rule, is the moral of the story here. I mean, we've all been tempted, I'm sure.
And I know, you know, we're getting into it again. They just announced it here in the city today. Schools are closing back down. Parents, I know you're frustrated with the remote learning. You're frustrated trying to work from home while dealing with the kids. Do not sell your kids to a bank. I know you want to. I know you're like halfway filled out the paperwork.
Yeah.
Don't do
but
it.
If you're going to do it, like throw it in one of those Coinstar machines TD Bank has or something.
Kid Star machines.
Kid Star. Oh, I dropped my kid off at the Kid Star machine in the fucking lobby of that grocery
Got
store.
$90
popped out.
My kid keeps on coming out the defective end. What the fuck? Got to put him back in.
Here's the thing: you got to flatten that kid out before you put it in that slot.
Oh,
he's
that
too grubby.
checks
I'm
out.
going to scrape off this gunk off him, and then he'll go through.
And you get this, you know, Thompson's just going through, you know, and they're like, "What'd you find out about him, Jerry? You know, what have you been doing this whole time? Wasting the fucking newsreel people's money or whatever." And he says, you know, he's putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and he says Rosebud was a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, a missing piece.
Right, in his life.
Fuck, that's great. You know, and we see it burn up and everything. And it's interesting because the burning of the sled, I always misremember as like the last shot of the movie, but then we in fact leave Xanadu just the way we came in at the beginning. It just reverses everything.
Yeah.
No detail about what happened to the monkeys, unfortunately. But we just go back to
telling
like,
you, man.
burn 'em.
Either that or the
Burn
butler
those
is like
monkeys.
fucking just really, he's selling him to P.T. Barnum for a fucking song and a half.
Oh, absolutely. Well, actually, dude, I bet you could get a good price if you were like, hey, you can't advertise this publicly for like another like 5 years or so. Wait for the heat to die down. Charles Foster Kane owned that giraffe. You could have like a higher admission price, probably.
Hell, I'll even take the burned animals. I'll find something. I'll put them somewhere. Don't you worry about it.
I do really like that book ending of showing, like, we kind of start with a no trespassing sign and it end with one, and it makes sense if this is a Hearst critique.
Yeah, you're not allowed. I mean, that's the thing, is you're not, it's awesome. Congratulations, no trespassing. You never let anyone anywhere near you. Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
Fuck you,
Man,
Jeff.
I think, you know, I know we're at the ass end of a really shitty 4 years, but I think Jeff Bezos might be the worst American.
Well, you know, I want to throw this out there to him. We will stop saying this if we get some type of, I don't know, Amazon Prime video show, like a.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
That would be
really.
very
Great.
We could host something.
Really holding the gun
and
to
then-
his head here.
I mean, I don't want to post our numbers on the door like fucking Charles Foster
Sure.
Kane, but they are impressive.
God.
Anyway, call us or drop dead. Either way.
Whoever is, I think we're more likely. Who's ever in charge of Tubi?
Yo, dude, we got Tubi money coming to
Sam-
us. All $80.
Sam Razos.
I will tube in for Tubi. Call me.
Oh, fuck. And yeah, we get the victory lap. I mean, I love to, it's not just a victory lap. You know, I was thinking about victory laps recently because we watched all the Scream movies, and there's victory laps in every single one of them. But this is great too, because before you get the victory lap, it's a title card that's just like, hey, everybody, you know, the Mercury Theater players, you know, are proud of the cast. You know, so many of them are in motion pictures for the first time. We would like to introduce you to them. Like, it's such a fucking
I love this because it's like a theater
great
detail.
thing. Yes, it really is.
And it's also very humble because he doesn't give himself one. I mean, it's humble, calling Orson Welles humble is an oxymoron, but at the same time, it comes off as humble at the very least. You know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't give himself a title card, and
he shares one with the cinematographer, which good on him, because Toland really kind of made this movie.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
Of all the people, he's very open. Like, yeah, I just told Toland what to do. I didn't come up with the things. Toland came up with all the ideas of how to do it. I just told him what to do.
Right. Yep. And so there we have it, gang. That is the film Citizen Kane. I'm legitimately curious if anyone has listened to this entire episode without seeing the movie.
I would recommend it.
It's a good one. It holds up.
Well, does it hold up is the question we ask. And yes, I think it.
Yeah.
I mean, it does play obviously like very differently in 2020. You know what I mean? It really does, and it's impressive and also sad how capitalism is capitalism, I guess, is the sad part about it. Is no one should have that much wealth, and we haven't learned that lesson just yet.
I thought I had while watching this, and like I would never want it to happen, but it did. It is really weird that Donald Trump never directed a movie. It's very weird that he never did that, because it seems like exactly what he would want to do.
See, but I don't think so, because the only reason I'm pushing back on this is because I know just how averse he is to the arts in any form.
He started as a Broadway. He wanted to be a Broadway producer. That was his whole trajectory at first. But the first show he did bombed so bad that like he was like, "Fuck it, not doing it. I'm gonna go into my dad's business." That was how he did. So, like, I feel like once you got power back, why wouldn't you just parlay that? And you're in the media all the time anyway.
Oh, you know what he would be? He wouldn't be like a director necessarily. He would just be Harvey Weinstein.
That's more. Yeah,
that sure.
He should have produced like canon movies for himself. You know what I mean? And those movies probably would have ruled.
Yeah, but they'd be like hyper racist.
That's true.
Yes. But the fact that he liked Bloodsport parts of it, like I could see maybe him leaning into that canon type of minefield.
But to be clear, though, it is a purely financial endeavor. There's not an artistic bone in that. Fuck.
Unlike all the other canon movies, this one would be racist.
Well, it would be.
Well, that's what I was about to say. There was no fucking shortage of racism in the canon collection. I'm just saying it would be hyper racist if he made a canon movie.
I would love. I would
Eric,
love him to try to outdo the Crackdown. That would be something.
Yeah,
he could. If anyone could do it, it's him. So we're wrapping up here about like, does this hold up? I will just quickly say, obviously it does. This is obviously one of my favorite movies. I've always loved this movie, and I kind of don't remember when. I think we were talking about this at the start, bookending it. This is our no trespassing sign. That I don't really remember when I first saw it, but it was definitely in an old, 4x3 crackly ass TV, and now seeing it in 2020 and all the history that it kind of predicted and the innovations that it produced that are still alive today. It's a great movie. And yeah, I mean, if anyone's contrarian about this movie, they're kind of just wrong.
I will say this movie, yes, this movie definitely holds up. It's great. And I would really encourage everybody to see his other movies. They're all very good, at the very least. Even like the ones that aren't amazing are very good.
Big fat guy era, like F is for Fake. Is
Chimes
really
at Midnight is like incredible movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I'm trying to think of some other ones that like specifically that he directed.
Othello, The Immortal Story.
Othello is amazing.
His Macbeth is very good. He co-directed Journey into Fear, which is not bad. Another Joseph Cotten picture.
I'm quick. Just an FYI, this movie is, in case you're wondering, the 97th best movie on IMDb's 250 best movies list, and number 71 is The Dark Knight Rises. Number 64 is Avengers: Infinity War. Number 60 is Joker. Number 48 is this year's Hamilton.
Okay,
Number 31 is Leon the Professional.
Fuck.
Number 29 is Interstellar. Number 28 is The Green Mile. And number 12 is Forrest Gump.
Did we mention Touch of Evil, right?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to mention. Touch of Evil. He's also uncredited as the director of The Lady from
Oh,
Shanghai.
weird.
Yeah, it says he was uncredited there, but yeah, weird. But there's no one else actually credited, so I don't know what wound up happening there. But that's a fucking great.
And by the way,
movie.
if you loved Citizen Kane, maybe you're new to Orson Welles, definitely check out The Magnificent Ambersons. It kind of gets to the same heart of this decaying riches
Yes.
of America angle.
Yeah.
It was chopped up, but it's still a very solid film.
That's my number one. Like, I sincerely hope at some point in my lifetime they find a fucking print in somebody's basement or some shit, and like it is the full Magnificent Ambersons. Because that's one of those, like, it's supposedly all like his cuts destroyed, like you'll never see it.
Right. That would be
But
amazing.
sometimes those little movie mysteries wrap up with a happy ending.
Right. What was that movie that came out that Netflix put up?
Oh, The Other Side of the Wind, which is fucking incredible.
Oh,
It's
dude, that movie is wild.
Man, I was enjoying it, but falling asleep multiple times trying to get through
I will
it.
say that is a
Yeah.
movie that I really am sad that it was Netflix who got it, because on the big screen, it's like a sensory overload.
That's what I need. I need big
Yeah.
screens again, because then I can sit there and pay the fuck
Yes.
attention.
What's a big
'Cause
screen? What are you
Chris-
talking about? Like a television?
Oh, so Steve, in the before times, there were these auditoriums you could go to called movie theaters, where they had basically a TV, but it was like really big and made out of like material, like fabric and whatnot. And they put the movies that you see on TV on the big screen.
And then some people would put their dicks in popcorn. It's a little weird. It's a mixed thing.
It was always a risky cultural activity.
God, don't you miss the days before COVID when you could just fucking flop your dick out in a movie theater?
I love it.
No, man, you're not whipping it out at the theater.
We're putting in some butter.
Ugh. Well, I'm thoroughly
Some
disgusted.
lube, dude.
Oh my god! Wow, what a way to wrap up.
So does it hold up, Andrew?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's weird because it is now seen in a completely different way, and I hope that maybe like I can let 5 years go by and watch it again and see what trauma still bubbles to the surface. But yeah, no, it's fucking great. It's from a technological like innovation standpoint, it's fucking great. The performance is fucking great, and just like what the thinking around like what a movie can be, right? Like that's one of the reasons why this movie is regarded the way that it is, right? Because if it was a different director and it was a very like A to B kind of story structure, and just kind of like humdrum, like dudes doing a gig cinematography, this kind of isn't really that interesting of a movie. It has to have all of those other things happening at the same time. And when all of that shit's going, man, like you're watching this movie and you just realize like, shit, there was like a lot of stuff cooking here when they made this movie. The thing that I will say is I'm completely ignorant to all of the books, the documentaries, RKO 281. Like I've never seen any
There's some
of that
good stuff
shit
out there.
Yeah, it's like my relationship to this movie is really just the movie. But now I'm kind of like curious to check out that other stuff. Although, boy, we were sharing some clips of that RKO 281, and
It's a TV movie underlined.
Yes.
Dude, Liev Schreiber's just talking like Liev Schreiber in that
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
So that was
But I gotta say, John Malkovich in that movie is a force to be reckoned with. I'm curious to see what Gary Oldman does with it, but he's good in that. He's good in that TV movie. He's just doing Malkovich, but I like Malkovich. So
we we said at the top that we are recording this before Mank has come out. None of us have seen it, but I read something today that's fucking points off for this movie already.
Uh-oh.
That he shot it digitally, and they were like, we want to make it look like an old movie, so they added like digital scratches and dirt to it. I mean, fuck
just
that. Like,
do it
I
for
don't know.
real.
I mean, I'm interested to see how he does. Like, that's an experiment on its own. I think that's interesting.
Also, it's possible to just watch a print that's not scratched.
Yes.
So that whole idea is fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
It reminds me like of old Mr. Show sketches when they would do like old timey, and they would put on that. But we'll see.
Exactly.
You know what? We'll just wait.
Yeah,
and see.
no, we'll see. I know, but
we might have another president. We might wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see.
You got to be fucking kidding me with that shit. I don't know. We'll see. You're right, Steve. We'll see. But that is going to do it for this ultra long We Love Movies episode on Citizen Kane. But the good news is all this month, lots of great stuff is coming down the We Love Movies pipeline. You heard the bumper up front. But just as a reminder, Steve Sadak, for next week, because as always here on We Hate Movies, the show must go on. So next Tuesday, we have a brand new opening at the Opera House. What are we talking about then?
We are talking about Fargo, the movie, not the television series, which is something you have to say in the year 2020.
Yeah.
But
this is going to be great, man. I got to tell you, I'm super psyched to go back to this. It's been a few years for me anyway, but I was just like, I was rewatching Lebowski the other weekend, and I was like, man, I'm getting the urge to revisit a lot of the Coen heavy hitters. So this will help me there. Anybody recall the last time they saw Fargo?
Oh man, years ago. But I love the Coens. So every year I check back in with something. I checked back in with Raising Arizona recently, and I still really enjoy it. So yeah,
I'm quite basic. This is my favorite Coens movie. It just
That's
is.
all right.
It just is.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Cool. So, well, that's going to do it, gang. So until next week, where we are talking about another great one, the Coen Brothers Fargo, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Gavin.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.